Hey, so here's something that you probably haven't heard. Uh, this game came out on Switch, and let me tell you, I was shocked that this didn't show up in the most recent indie world. Like, the presentation ended, and then I was like looking around on Twitter, seeing this and that, and like this game came out like on the same day as the indie world dropped, and there wasn't like a peep of official information about this. But this is a game that I've been following for a while. This is one of those things that you see in like a Reddit GIF like 5 years ago, and then so much time passes, and then you see like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this a while back. OMNO is 100% that game. Is it any good? I really don't know, but this title screen has got vibes. So let's answer that question. Yeah, so I said earlier during Darkened Sky, there is a lot of games of that type, of that energy that I just described, that I'm hoping to do throughout January, and hopefully I'll get through them pretty fast. I don't know. But if possible, I'm gonna be like just slamming through them. Like, you have no idea how many of these I've got on my plate, and I want all of them done by January. This is my new goal. My goal last year for December was to finish Fire Emblem Three Houses, and then not only did I do that, but then I fit the entirety of Paper Mario in there, and then it was great. Wow, this is very rigid camera control. I like the very angular grass though. Hold jump to jump higher. Okay. I don't like the vibes in this place in particular, because we just, whoa. Those are cool. They're like plant flamingos. Because I was having fun with Darkened Sky, and then I got to like a really unpleasant swamp area. I'm like, alright, that's enough of swamps. I'm going to play a game that doesn't have swamps. And then it's immediately swamps! That's a checkpoint. Cool. The Fraglets? Shy creatures, fond of swamps and boggy water. There's 41 creatures to find. Okay. Alright. What was the one creature that the Skittles lady was like hurting all the time? It's like a Trogdor or something, like a Trimble. Like a Trundle? That's a fun sound. That Reddit post scenario was Undertale for me. I don't know where I first heard of Undertale. I played it really close to when it came out, but I think that's because Tyler backed the Kickstarter, and I found out about it through them. Okay, I guess I'm getting on the turtle. Yo, the Marula? Semi-mythic, glimpsed only rarely, perhaps once a decade, subject to many stories. Thanks, I really feel the weight of how special this is. It's like a 2-second scene pops out. Hey, I show up once a decade. Climb on my back. Do I control this? I think I do. I'm holding left. Oh, it's gonna be one of those. You know what, though? Shout out to games that do this. I feel like opening credits in games are a very rare thing. Yeah, this is pretty, actually. This music sounds nice, too. But it's always a pleasant surprise to see them. I love Dark Souls, but one of its worst features as a series is way too many swamps. That was cute. That was a cute title drop. Bye, Wormy. I don't know why I called you a wormy. You're a turtle. Turdy. Yeah, Big Daddy. Oh, it's the little cutout paper people. Whoa! I live in a swamp already. Dark Souls just makes me feel more pain playing through them. Alright, well that was the light, I guess. Thanks for the light. Wackalumps! Strange ageless beings. Some say they are more plant than animal. I know better than that. These are exclamation marks. I know better than that. These are balloons that are like nearly out of helium. Especially Dark Souls 3. It has like 5. You know, Femi, out of anybody, Aqui Pit. Can I learn information about this by pressing the X button, perhaps? Oh, 0%. Oh, so that shows you like your completion. And also where to go next, I guess. But out of anybody that's been trying to get me to play Dark Souls, you're like the biggest proponent of it that I know of. So this is, if you want me to play it, maybe don't tell me the bad things until the bad things happen and then it's too late to say no. I don't know why I'm trying to manipulate chat into manipulating me, actually. Why do I want this? Okay. So you gotta collect the orbs. I don't know what they do. But they go off in a beautiful arcing beam to a central area. If anything, the structure of this is kind of reminding me of a little bit of Rhyme. In terms of just you find an open area, collect the thingies, you do it in any order you want, and then you find the next new thingy you can do. But who knows? It could also be the first tree. But whether or not the narration about Mormonism kicks in, you know, that remains to be seen. So this is where I gotta bring him back to. There's some other collectibles besides the one that I just got to pick up. Poke? Oh, that's the letter I. It's the pause button. I unlocked the ability to pause. With no memory of how my pilgrimage began, I feel all the closer to the light and the new world beyond the gate. Soon I too will step through it. Luma bees, the only light up in company, a symbol of companionship and unity. I always love little creature collections like that, where a game has like a lot of cool ideas for not even like just enemies, just like these other entities that populate these spaces, and then you get to like learn about them. It's neat. Okay, I guess I just learned about that. Although I think I missed the prompt window. I seem to be alone on my way. Still, I leave these messages behind for those who may wish to follow. For myself, for my memories. If only this endless rain would stop. Is it the Lapacrabs? It is said that all stones were once alive, but they used to be gigantic beings, big as mountains. Okay, so you have some like optional lore stuff to read if you want. Griffin, play Elden Ring's Smile. I'm not gonna lie, Elden Ring does look sick as fuck. But you know, that would require Griffin to get PlayStation 5, which I'm not all too keen on doing right now. It seems that even for people who do want one of those, like really badly, like they can't even if they wanted to. Uh-oh. Oh no, it really is Darkened Sky. Now it's gonna take me back to the very beginning of the game. No, it remembers my progress this time, actually. Okay. So the third thing is over there. So that was actually my speed skip to get to it faster. The Turtles! Still 7 weeks until Elden Ring. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. Now, I'm not quite sure what vibes this game is going for yet. But I don't know. Personally, I categorize this... Oh, these sync. Personally, from what little that I know about this, I would categorize OMNO as like a journey-like. And I feel like for this sort of thing where you want to introduce challenges, if you want to like min-max emotional player connections, I'm just gonna say that gloopy instant death pits in the first area is maybe not the best idea. Like, you want to like find the absolute most you can dazzle them with, and then do all of that, and then find the things that subtract from the dazzle, and then subtract that, and that's your formula to a good journey. At least there's ledge grabbing, though, thank God. Okay, well then what's this, though? I thought I only needed 3, but there's like a 4th one. I'm gonna get the 4th one. Hold on now. What are you doing here? Gather more energy? Okay, maybe I gotta go where these three, like, coalesced, and then we're good. Elden Ring is also on real computers. Smile. Stone? Oh, that's okay. Well, I'm here. What do you want me to do now? Maybe, like, opens the door up the stairs? It's in the box, the stone cardboard box. Oh, is it gonna be like a block pushing puzzle? Ooh, you just kind of like thump it. Okay. I was actually expecting that to be rather slow and unpleasant, but that's actually not bad at all. Well, this has got a symbol on it. And there's a thingy over there. Oh, I getcha. I getcha. Go over here first, come here second. I don't know. That's got some very satisfying weight to it. Okay, so now I have like a torch. So maybe I can use that to, well, actually, let me do this on the way. Oh, I can't move the box anymore. Okay. I guess I'll just do this. Oh, okay, so I'm always carrying this around, but as long as it's lit, got it, right. It's my staff of Skittles. I gotta use my... this is like the worst pair of games to play back to back, because I'm just gonna be making nothing but Darkened Sky jokes all month for all these like very emotional, beloved games. I'm gonna leave the pit. I would like to leave the pit. Open this pit up, shut this pit down. Well, it doesn't need to get more power. I still don't know what that means, so I guess I'll just leave. Okay. I guess I got 78% of the stuff, so it can't be all that bad. Speaking of games that need coyote time, though. Like, this is going to sound mean, but of the platforming that I've done so far, it like, just doesn't feel good. Like, maybe if you want to make a game about running and jumping, maybe the running and jumping should feel good. See, and now I've transitioned into something that looks really cool, but it's also something that I'm not controlling. So sure, you know, I'm gonna take it in, the music's gonna swell up, and it's gonna be real pretty. But it remains to be seen whether or not there's gonna be like a connection between the actual gameplay moments and the moments that are interesting. This rock has the gradient of all time. Holy moly. Hi, little guy. Oh, you fly. I don't know. These are my early impressions. I'm not, like, it's been minutes. So I don't mean to say that I'm, like, writing off the game, because I do somewhat know what this game's, like, twist is in terms of how it controls, and I don't think the swamp is representative of that. So, you know, I'd love to be pleasantly surprised. I just think it needs a second to get where it's going. See, like, this bit has so much more ground. Wouldn't this make, like, a nicer starting area, maybe? Agnea Plateau. I still don't really know what that means. Like, it's pointing me towards something, but I don't think it has anything to do with the micro collectibles? I don't know. Yeah, this game does low poly rocks very well. Really strong use of shape and color. Oh, this is like a dimensional pause button. I don't know what I mean by this. I have a dash move now. See, look at that. It's got a nice FOV pullout, really fast and snappy. You kind of outrun the camera a little bit, so I'm not sure how that feels. But yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. You do a little bit earlier, maybe. I mean, I do like that, though. Because this is something that I have complained with Sonic games a lot, is that when you do a homing attack, once the homing attack concludes, you lose all the momentum and you just, like, drop straight down like a rock. And what I like about this, you do the dash, and as you're falling, you keep a lot of that speed. Not all of it, but, like, enough in a way that actually feels satisfying. Like, the deceleration curve on that feels nice. What are these, like, kid pick sound effects? So, Swamp Area doesn't feel so good, but now it's actually, like, introducing some mechanics and designing areas for those mechanics, which feels a lot better to me. A flume? Obsessed with anything that shines and glitters. I want to try and get this again. I saw the flume, but a flume I did not collect. Unless, well, the flumes are circling around it. But can I pick up the glitter, or... I can. Okay. What are these things? Shoobs? Lively little beings that move as a pack. If left alone, they will weaken and eventually die. Why would you tell? I didn't need to know that. That's awful. Can I get up here? Oh dear. Is it weird of me to say that I think both me and the person who made this game watched, like, the same YouTube tutorial on how to make good rocks? I feel like I've, like, looked into this before, and the end result has, like, resembled, you know, like, YouTube game dev, Twitter game dev resources, and like, oh, here's how to make really simple, good-looking, low-poly assets in your game. I'm sorry if a lot of what I'm saying is, like, sounding like a dig, because that sounds diggy when I say it out loud, but I mean it in more of, like a, oh, like, this person, like, probably, like, went through the same shit that, like, I'm going through, which is interesting. I need to press the R button way earlier. Coming from Darkened Sky, off a Dolphin with the 0 input delay, just switch, capture, it's so night and day. I have to, like, get used to the input delay again. I like all these little creatures and critters. Me too! Yeah, any sort of, like, Piclopedia stuff is good in my book. HD Rumble doesn't feel all that great, or for that matter, sound all that great, in case you guys are hearing that every time I press a button. Okay, this seems like where I should be starting then. But why am I to be starting here? What's the end goal here? What am I trying to get to? Oh, over there? Okay. Oh. When you dash towards them, they rise faster. So I thought the goal was just to, like, outrun it, but maybe not. There's probably, like, an order to this. How about we go this way? Does this one go as high? You know what? It actually doesn't, but let's try making the jump next time? Yes, I can ledge grab. Okay. Yeah, they'll, like, rise up to whatever they need to be to, like, meet you. Okay, so you just got a zigzag. So that's 1 of 3. These are some nice cube trees as well. I feel like I've played a lot of, like, high-end Roblox games that look like this. And that too, I'm sorry, everything I'm saying is sounding mean! I say this as a Roblox developer. The ones that I like look like this. Actually, Some of these rocks and geometry do remind me a lot of Super Doomspire, for that matter. It feels like only yesterday that people wandered these paths and crossed these bridges, as I am now. The whispering winds in the canyons remind me of the time before the Great Departure, and of a people in harmony with all of creation. With all of creation, you know, God's creation, of the Mormon God Jesus. The Frummers! Oh my. Is it because they're like frogs and they kind of hum? Okay. I'm not sure what that did. I think that's just to, like, show you collectibles, maybe? To highlight them a little bit better? I don't know. Every time a sweeping camera movement starts, I'm like, oh, is this, like, about to try? And, like, music picks up a little bit, like, okay, is this, like a cutscene and something important is happening? Or, I don't know, do I have, like, Joy-Con drift on my right analog stick, you know? I wonder if I can get up from any of this stuff. There's gotta be a way up there. Maybe if I go across all those bridges first? This looks a lot more likely. Let me do this. I don't know what picking up these mini sparklies is supposed to be doing, though, because they're definitely, like, placed in a way where you have to, like, do a challenge to overcome it, right? Like, they're not randomly placed. They're there with intent, which seems to suggest to me that they're collectibles. But I'm not sure what I'm collecting them for, and I don't know, like, what they do. We got another one of these, though. Oh, wait a second. It actually shows you the thing he's in relation to. Okay. I'm leaving all of this behind. All of the creatures and all the beauty that surrounds me. Leaving to find a better world out there in the light. What is it like, the world behind that gate? I'll have the answer very soon. A troll is a creature. These guys are really awesome too. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to get up there. I definitely know what those do. Those are actually like the main things gating progress. So those are important to get. Oh, okay. Kind of tipped over like an Alan Wake lamp. But progress is progress. God damn it, Alice! I think I need to get over to there. It's kind of a tall order. Oh. Oh, this movement was not designed for sidling. This guy does not take to corners very well. Okay, well that worked though. Yeah, this game's got some gorgeous looking colors though. If ever there were a good grass, it's a nice like bluish greenish grass. Bluish greenish grass. Do I stand on this or do I go up to it? No. I think I just go into the gate and then I move to the next area. I'm gonna turn into leaves, I think. Eh? Oh. Well, what does this actually do then? Is it like a... Ah, it's like a bounce. Oh, and I have to turn on the pushable boxes as well. Okay. Well, let's think this through then. Let's think this through. I think I want this over here. And this over here. And this over here. And then just scoot those over one more. And that should resemble ledges that I can climb. Yeah, that should work. I think the one on the left, though, is the optional path, so we'll try that first. Oh, okay. Well, that's almost fun. There we go. There's not much of a window to get that, like, right up at the peak. Oh. Do you have to go around? Surely I don't. But it was literally just asking me to sidle, so I really don't know. Could I feasibly, like, air dash over to this? I'll just do the right path. And then maybe it'll loop back around to the left. I don't know. But clearly, there's got to be, like, a reason it would even give you the option to go left. So maybe there's some missing pieces I've got over there. But yeah, check this shit out. Check this shit out. Huh? Cutscene? I hope it's a cutscene. Oh no. Oh no, dude! Oh, whoopsie. Check this shit out. Fucking soft locks the game. I hope I didn't lose too much progress on that. Okay. Maybe a little bit of the unintended mean-spiritedness is like a teensy bit warranted. Cause like that was a box. That's really funny that my first instinct that was that like I found a cutscene or something. Actually, I think it makes sense to have that there. I think you had it to the left of where it is right now. But I think where it is now is like a better position. Eh? Yeah, I think I need to back this up a bit. More like that. Okay. Okay, we're safe. Man, I wonder what could have happened. Like, an instant cut to black and all the visuals just go away. Like, no character, no geometry. How does that happen? Like, hey, I've had my fair share of Unreal Engine nonsense at this point. Oh. And I can't say that I've experienced anything like that quite yet. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. There's a cool creature up there. I want to see what that's about. These checkpoints make awesome noises, though. Oh, yeah? We're doing this? Ooh! The, Still feel like it's a little easy to shoot the homing attack, but that's probably just coming down to me not being too experienced with it yet. I'm sure that'll get better just with time. You know what? Shout out to the "You Are Leaving" feature as well. Because in so many games, I'm always asking, is this the real way or is this the optional way? Was it like a buggy die screen, but for some reason it didn't reset? That could be. That could be. Do I get to ride on the Altaraxes? Well, okay. These ancient guardians linger in the Great Canyon's shadow, calling out to one another through the mist. These guys are neat. Yeah, so I'm definitely not controlling this. Well, or am I? Going left, going right. Oh, maybe I am. Unless it's just swaying like crazy on its own. Like, maybe you have, like, a little bit of influence over where it's going, but the path is still scripted? Because it's cutting to these wide shots, too, where I'm definitely not controlling it. Okay, well, thank you. I'm still on the fence about this. There are cool things happening, and then there are gameplay things happening, but both of those things are still in a vacuum. I'm still waiting for that to coalesce. The paper people. The legends of AOL. The teaching. But you know what? I could definitely see this getting somewhere. Like a couple of areas later, you pick up a couple more abilities. It's like, okay, now this is getting like snappier and snappier. That's my hope. Malaha Plain. Okay, so let's try another one of these. So it's going to turn the camera around 360 degrees, and then I'm going to walk away. That one didn't feel as helpful for revealing collectibles, and I really do not know what these do. See, I'm still just going to be like jumping on rocks, though. All the interesting stuff that's going on is stuff that I'm not going to be able to interact with. Oh, but I'm jumping on mushrooms, not rocks now, sorry. The light guides me on my path and gives me strength. It lives in everything from plants in the plains to unassuming rocks. The staff bearers learn to harness and control the light's power. Okay, I thought I was progressing the text, but alright. Oh! I jingled you. Can I climb this? No. Maybe I can. Oh. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't get too experimental with this, because when you least expect it, the screen will just turn black. When you least expect it, you'll whack a tree and then the whole game will crash. Springs? Oh my, whoa, Jesus Christ. Huh? I thought it was gonna be like a spring, like a bounce pad. It's not? Ugh. Stop, stop. That is like really dizzying. Like, I'm not disoriented by a lot, but that is like, jeez. Why? What is the point? Like, that's on purpose, but why is it on purpose? What is the intent behind it? Hello, my little friend. Well, that looks like probably where the exit is. What I need are those things. And still what I haven't gotten any of yet. It's getting close. The thing that it's going to is at least nearby. The light lives in every animal and every stone, and the old staff bearers learned to harness it. The teachings of the light were passed from generation to generation, and the staff bearers brought balance and prosperity to the world. I've learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson. I'm not having fun with you anymore. This seems like something I can't cross yet, but there are also things to get beyond it, so... Well, there are other glowies to get. You know what? I think I actually understand the structure of this now, why there's more than 3 in each area. Because then that means that you can just, like, pick whichever 3 you want and then move on. So there's never, like, one way to do it. You can go to, like, completely... what am I trying to say? You could go to completely different segments than another player would. And still, like, get a good experience out of it. Alright, then. It's like, like Korok seeds. Like, you're not meant to get them all. But every different person will get, like a different smaller chunks worth of it. Oh, that just has no collision. I thought I overshot it, but these look so platform-like. I mean, I don't know how I'm getting that one, but maybe this guy can give me a ride. I haven't really, like, tried to approach you yet. The Chronoris. Sedentary, long-lived creatures known to some as witnesses of time, content to watch the world flow by. Also, what's this? What's this? You can't navigate the menus with the analog stick, you have to use the D-pad. Agile, fibrous, possibly some strange breed of flower. Plant-like in appearance with a strange but charming way of showing joy. Okay. I'm not getting any button prompts, really, so. I think, unfortunately, that's another piece of decoration. Oh, wait a second. I think there actually is a way to cross the gap that's not the bridge. With knowledge of the light and the power it grants, the staff bearers became her leaders. I will rest for just a moment longer, gather my breath, feel the wind on my face one last time. Yeah, is it possible to cross this gap over here? Yes. It's a little clunky, but just barely. Oh, dude, I love sinking stair objects into terrain. I've been doing a lot of that with LBA recently, and it never gets old. Oh. Oh, dear. I mean, I might be able to get enough height to land on this, but before those jump pads were only enough for like 1 box of height, so I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll just kind of plant it in the middle to give us the most options. Okay. No, okay, this works. So now there's another pad here, and then... Okay, I know where this needs to be. Actually, no. That was a good spot. That was a good spot. Go back. And then maybe one more in this direction. That should be good. Every movement in this game is very deep and bassy. It sounds like I'm a race car. Oh. Okay, so that's 2. It feels like this ought to be like a... Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, so the glitteries are like your health, maybe? Maybe it's like Kirby's Epic Yarn. You get hit, you drop your beads, but they're not like technically your health? Yeah, okay. Well, that's nice of you, then. It'd be nice if there was a way to, like, tell that that was, like, an on button from this side, as opposed to it just being, like, a featureless rock. Like, I'd probably be able to, like, read that faster. Okay, so we got one more. And there's a couple we have to choose from. There's the one on that rock, which I can't seem to get to, although I did not notice this here before. Maybe this one will give us a ride. I'm just gonna climb on it without its permission. I feel like this is just gonna keep sliding me off. Wait. No, yeah. Tail's best I can do. But maybe if I talk to the head... Or this? I have to press the on button next to the dinosaur, maybe? Okay. Oh, you were sleeping on one. Okay. Thanks. That's not an egg, silly. Okay, so can I dash while doing this? Oh, wait a second. So this takes the power away from one thing, so I have to, like, transfer it to power different mechanisms. So now that I have this, I can tilt to raise the ground. And is that going to stay? Or is it going to sink back down? Looks like it stays. Wait, so why would I want the bounce pad? I think there's a second light there, so I can keep both things powered at the same time. Okay. But would I want to bring it all the way down, though? I guess the question is, if I wanted to divert power to that thing, yeah, I would use this and bring it down here. And that did... what exactly? I mean, maybe there's a thing at the end that turned on because of that? I don't know. I don't know what it is about this game in particular that has me in, like, bitchy game designer critique mode. And at first it was kind of like, why? But now I'm kind of getting it. And I'm ready to, like, indulge it a little more. Oh. So this being down here, why? This probably, like, activates a bridge. You know, like, bring the power to the end. But why would this be here? There was never anything in it, and putting something in it doesn't do anything. So what's the purpose? I can still dash while holding this, right? Oh, that's the gimmick. That's the gimmick. You can't dash while using it. Okay, that makes this interesting. Oh, you know what it is? You know what? Okay, I get this. I get this. So this doesn't actually power anything. It's just like a receptacle. It's just something to set it down for a little bit while you go off and do other stuff. So you put the power down while it's there. And then I gotta go back and get this one. Does anybody else occasionally see, like, an invisible shimmering image kind of effect? Like, sometimes it looks like there's something, like, camouflaged that I can't quite see. And it's not like a full screen thing, it's just like certain parts of the frame do it. And I'm certain it's intentional. I just don't know what it is and why. Look at that lad. Oh, you know what? That doesn't look quite as magical up close. It just looks like it's made of Play-Doh now. And then you pick it up. And then you put it down here. Alright, I liked that puzzle then. so close to a funny number. I'm trying to think of what the incentive even is for staying, though. Because it's not like there's additional things that you can deposit the additional collectibles in. You just get 3, and then what is the point? Oh, wait a second. I think I can control these a little bit. I was about to say, wouldn't it be neat if I could do that? But I think it's kind of like the dinosaur, where it just goes where it wants to. Because I was thinking, you know what if this was like Flower a little bit? But no, this game hates giving you control. I don't know, I've still yet to be proven wrong, really, on any of these observations that I've made so far, as much as I'd like to be. I mean, I like the animation, and I like the art design. These in-between scenes are, like, really nice. I guess it's just disappointing because you get the impression of what this game wants to be, but then the gameplay part doesn't actually do it. This is a nice looking area, though. This snow's got, like, some nice, like, I don't know, shading on it. And I have funny little footprints. Hell yes. Let yourselves be carried. The new world awaits. Oh, am I going to transcend? Am I about to cross the border? ZL to surf. Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, shit. Wait a second. This feels really good to control. Okay. Okay, the twist happened. There's like a really good sense of momentum to it. I really like the way the camera tilts. The music is actually picking up as a part of the gameplay. Guys, it stopped sucking! And I'm moving with my little friend. Fuck yes! Wait a second. See, I'm ready to be patient with stuff like this. You gotta give it a chance, and then sometimes it'll surprise. It's like really pretty scenery, too. Some exceptions aside, games like this just don't hit for me. I mean, certainly of the kind that I've played of that genre, you can do like little... Can I do tricks? Okay, you can turn it off, which I do not want to do. You can kind of. See, all it needed was a little bit of momentum. All it needed was birds. No, I totally get it, though. I mean, if you look at something like Rhyme, a lot of... I mean, I'm sure there's a better word for this than Journey likes, but that's the term I keep coming back to. Is that they do kind of just wind up being, like, push some blocks around while some sad music plays, and then maybe it's got a sad ending, and that's it. And I feel like that... Oh my god, the slow motion. That's really funny. I think I'm still going. I keep, like, stopping, like, thinking it's the end, but it just keeps going. Okay, now it actually stopped for real. Sake Valley. So I definitely think that there's, like, more potential to the kind of game that this wants to be, as long as the gameplay just isn't that, and it was that for a little bit, and I fully expect it to return to the stuff that I was kind of already getting a little bored with earlier on. But, I mean, if they want to, like, have, like, platformer elements and have, like, a nice movement system, I mean, if you think about it, Ori is kind of a Journey-like, except it's just a really good platformer and a really good Metroidvania on top of all of that. Because it has that, like, core emotional component and the really good music and, like, the, you know, the wordless storytelling. You know, it's got so many elements of those that people like, that people come to for games of that type. But it's so good that it, like, transcends being just that. You know what I mean? Yeah, it controls really, really well. I like the acceleration and deceleration up and down the hills. That feels really good. It says to come back to these when you have more power. Yeah, gather more energy, I guess. Still, I need the energy. Ori is not Journey. Like, I'm using this in, like, the broadest term of, like, simplistic games that make you feel things. I don't know. That's why I'm saying that, like, I know that there's a better term for this. Because I don't even think that Ori is at all setting out to be that even. Oh, God. Is this the fucking Skittles puzzle? You have to do these in, like, a certain order. Oh, you gotta, like, zip between them, maybe? Right? No. Okay. We gotta zigzag right across. There's that shimmering image again. Did you guys... What is that? I wonder if there's, like, a way to, like, touch it or something. Just say it's like Journey, or it's got vibes. Yeah, sure, it got vibes. Games that have vibes, sure. I mean, the comparison definitely rings a lot more true for stuff like OMNO and Rhyme than it does Ori. Like, if someone asked me what Ori is, I would not say it's a Journey. Like, I'd be like, oh, it's a Metroidvania. But it certainly shares elements in common that I'm talking about when it comes to games like this, I guess. Whoops. See, it feels really good to go downhill. And the animation is, like, really responsive, too. Like, you always keep, like, a certain height above the ground. It feels very snappy and, like, flowy and liquidy. Like, this is nice. The bungees. Although it is occurring to me that the problem with designing an area like this is that when you shape it like a giant bowl, you can only go fast towards the center of the valley, and then everywhere else you have to, like, walk uphill. Because doing this is still, like, a little bit faster, but it doesn't feel quite as good to go uphill as it does downhill. But I don't know how you solve that either. Or more specifically, it's got vibes, parentheses, emotional. Wait, so I need to get, like, 3 of these and bring them over here? Yeah, I can't turn any of these on right now. Unless... Oh, okay, now they're on. Wait a second, guys, I'm really good at this. I have, like, a game on my Apple Watch that's, like this. I'm so fucking good at it. Oh, wait a second. Well, in all fairness to my watch game, that one doesn't have air dashing in it, so I'm not used to that. Stream tags, Metroidvania, action, vibes, emotional. Yeah, I mean, I guess the specific characteristics, I mean, this in particular seems really into the idea of, like, taking control away to, like, show you something so pretty that it, like, has an effect on you, right? Oh yeah, that's a trick right there. And I think some games are definitely really, really good at doing that. But I don't know. I feel like there has to be, like, a very careful kind of pacing to that sort of thing. Oh, that's ticking. Ah! Oh, I just fell through that. Because that's not all it is. That's not all you have to do to make it, like, feel right. I don't know, it's a really interesting kind of game to set out to try and design. Because making something that is visually and in terms of gameplay and sound, like, you really have to tie it all together in... You know, I don't think even... Oh, this game is so good it makes you cry. Like, that's a high goal to try and hit, and you can feel it when it fails to meet that. Which I guess is what one would kind of mean when you say that these games don't really land for you. There's more lore up here. I don't know. I guess when I think of... I like that I have this little friend now that's, like, actually helping me out and has, like, these scripted interactions. That's cute. If I'm, like, a game developer, the staff bearers search for their goal without pause. How would they recognize that they did not know, but they knew it would lead to a better world for us all? I think it's just a lot to bite off. You know, maybe, like, more that you can chew for, like... someone who's getting started with game design. I mean, I don't know about the history of this dude, but, I mean, the way these assets are laid out, I don't know, like, block pushing puzzles are really easy to make. So if you want to figure out, like, what your gameplay actually is, then resorting to stuff like that, if you're making any other game, then sure, fuck it, why not, right? But I feel like stuff like that kind of runs in the opposite direction of, you know, so good it makes you cry. I feel like games like this are environmental mood pieces in visual art, where I can appreciate it more when it's done well, but it's really not for me. See, that's the thing, because I can look at this and I'll say, like, wow. Like, the art design is really nice. I was talking about the grass. The colors have been non-stop interesting to me. I really like that there's a little bit of, like, pale, dark red underneath the snow, where it's like a hint of a path, but it's like still kind of snowed up. Again, it's very it's got a good hand with the low poly stuff that it's doing. And again, the animation is really nice, and the music is really nice. Oh, oh no! Like, this is gonna be the coolest dismount of all time. At least this is a button. I think the movement really is the thing that comes down to it, because I think about, like, because to say Journey is the only one that has been able to do this is, like, literally not true. I think all of the Matt Nava games, Matt Nava, post Journey, have also been able to achieve that. Like, the Pathless had these also, like, big open areas, but the movement felt, like, extremely polished and fun and satisfying to control, and the haptics were really good. And the actual tasks that you were doing were interesting. And the Pathless was actually one of the first things that I was thinking of, because there's, like, lore that you come across, you kind of optionally choose to learn more about the world. The Pathless does not have snail pies, however. So I don't know. I think before you set out with wanting to do something like that, you really have to have, like, a good foundation of gameplay to build on top of. And, I mean, this is still, like, slowly introducing moves, so maybe it's, like, not there yet and it'll continue to get better, but I think even, like, if I were workshopping this, I would say that the basic running around and jumping needs to feel better than this. Like, if they have the ability to detect uphill and downhill momentum, then this is, like, a good uphill pace, but for areas this big, maybe if you want to go downhill, then you, like, run a little faster. You good? Let's just tiptoe back to the edge. The staff bearers formed our world, knowing they had yet to attain the highest form of the light, the true light. I am driven towards the answers by the relentless cold. Oh, but you can use it as, like, a cancel before you hit the ground. Oh, and that's all 3. You know what, though? Let me try and actually find more than 3, though. Like, if I can find a 4th one out here, like there. Like, let's go there. I'm gonna try and get this one and see what it actually does. Like, I'll try to meet this game where it is and see what it's even asking of me to begin with. Getting a little sparkly, still don't know what those do. Is that the turtle that I was riding on? No, it's got like the turtle head, but it's like a mammoth. It's a turtle mammoth. In fact, I bet there's even a cool little entry for it. The Maboris. At this time of year, in this part of the country? I don't know how to climb this. Maybe what it means by, like, more power. Like, with the only moves I have. And that's, like, the only stuff that I can get for now. But then maybe I come back later. Or I just need to climb on a specific rock. So, like, what does this do? Now that I have more than 3. Oh. It just breaks? Alright. There's a... Have I been to that cave? Yes, I have. That's not a cave. That's where the spiral of platforms was. I found the creator's personal site, and it seems they're primarily an animator. This is their first game, but they've worked on 4 other projects as an animator in the AAA industry. I would believe that. Because the animation really has been, like, the most, like, polished-looking aspect of this game. It's got really nice, like, character design and animation. Like, that's the part I have, like, the least criticisms about. Because it just is extremely well done. I don't know, though. I'm curious to see, like, the, I don't know, the portfolios of whoever else is in the credits. I don't know. Well, okay, but this isn't the only puzzle here, because we need to bring the 3 thingies. There's, like, more going on here. Or maybe we don't even need 3. We just need to, like, set these down in, like, the right order, maybe? Huh? Oh, I think depending on where you place the light, there's, like, different puzzles in each spot. Yeah, this is a different order now. And it has 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I gotcha. I don't know what my record is in this watch game, but the thing about having an Apple Watch is that you're just already wearing it, so I can check right now. Because it counts within how many steps of something like that that you can, like, memorize. Can't I take this back? Oh, I don't think I can take this out. Oh, and every time you complete the puzzle, you get another light. I gotcha. Okay. Let's bring it over here, then. So we'll just get... I'll fuck it up real quick. And then it'll tell me what my high score was, right? I don't know what it is. It just showed me a picture of a horse that said, oops. Okay. Why does it tell me my high score? Okay, well, it starts you with 3. And then every time you complete the sequence, it repeats it with an extra step in the process. So I'll get it wrong now that I've done 3. Right, so I can do up to 15 of those. I can memorize up to 15 of these thingies. This is probably just going to use all 6, though. Kind of jumped the gun on returning the camera to me, but I get the idea. Oh, wait a second. Was it this one or this one? I gotta turn the camera, like, in my head. I think it's this one. No. Yeah, every step is, like, a different zigzag. Right, okay. And, like, reverses halfway through. Well, I mean, I know the order. I just fell on the ground. Listen, it's like they say, I actually knew what the right answer already was, but it's like Mr. Hartrop always says, when you're down to the last 2 doors, you pick the one that isn't right, and then you get it. How did I not... Huh? Huh? That didn't seem right. Wait, what? I think I broke the minigame. I can tell you exactly what it is that happened, though. Is that because the lights were already left on, the order that they were turned off in was being done once the this thing over here is done showing you the lights. But because the lights were already on, you just didn't see what the first steps were. Up until like 5 and 6. I guess I feel that though, because that's like the kind of mistake that like I would probably make. I mean, you know, I'm thinking now. There's an area in Drip Drop Caverns that I have to remake now. And it literally did have a bug like this, but I know how to fix it. Oh, look at that, the character shadow is like higher resolution than the geometry. That's neat. Whoa, 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 whoa! Oops. Got a little too trigger happy with getting back to this then. Let's see. So what's going on here? If I am not to surf, then what am I to do? Oh, it's just gonna show me doing something cool now? Okay, so... the meat troll. The appearance of this rare being is considered a herald of better times. I don't know. Surely there's a way to make this interesting. To like incorporate player control into this instead of making it something you watch. Like, wow, this looks really neat. Like, it looks really cool. But I can't do anything with it. So I don't know where that leaves me as just someone who's playing a game. Are you gonna let me down now, or is this actually gonna become gameplay? No, it's gonna let me down. Okay. Probably didn't have to carry me this far. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm certain that everybody who just worked on that sequence is very proud of what they made. From the music, to the artists, to the animators, to the designers for these jellyfish creatures. I don't know. Make like a student short film or something. Or make a game that like has anything to do with any of what just happened. But this feels weird. Those sections really rub me the wrong way. Like, they really want... I get the vibe, in the wrong way, that they so desperately want this to emotionally resonate with the player, but I'm not playing, so I don't know. I guess they rub me the wrong way because, like, you can tell so much effort went into it, and I'm rooting for this game, like, I want it to be good. And maybe if that effort went into the gameplay instead. I don't know. What? You're sure you want to lead me away from this? This looks important. I'm going to interact with it. This feels like really old game design. Like, gameplay section, then cinematic, then gameplay, then cinematic. Anyways, we're at the rift. We're crossing that rift? Lake Ober. Oh, wait, so this is actually... Hey, I'll be free. I'll be more than happy to put my foot in my mouth if these jellyfish actually are a gameplay component. Because, like, the same thing was happening with the dinosaurs, where, like, first you ride around on one, and then you find an area with dinosaurs. Thanks, little guy. But you also couldn't really incorporate the dinosaurs into any of the gameplay. But all I want is for these jellyfish to be platforms. And it looks like they just might be. This looks platformy. So, like, hey, this is kind of getting somewhere. Oh, and they actually deform based on where you're standing. That's really, really nice. Kind of feel sorry for them, though. Whoa, jeez! Can't help but notice that the left and right control for this is, like, a little bit touchy. Wish that it almost, like, wasn't as responsive. Like, if I jump and then I do this and I want to, like, course correct a little bit, then if I'm, like, going here, let's say I want to be on this little, I don't know, this little rock right here, and I'm facing this direction. If I do one of these and I want to course correct to that direction, either I shoot forwards and I have no way of correcting that, or I do this, which is, like, way too much. Like, maybe during that animation you could have some additional mid-air control. I think would feel really good. But it feels just like a little too binary. I feel like the best kinds of moves are the ones where you can just, like, you can put a little spin on it, you know? But with that one, it feels like really take it or leave it. I do like the music here a lot, though. Hoops! I'll go through hoops. Who's asking? Hoops asking. I feel like I need to, like, turn on a light, though, or get some sort of challenge going, or a timer. Probably up there. Like, this kind of just feels like a jog button when I'm doing this. Eh. Why is it making like a Regigigas sound? Oh, 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 oh. I think what I'm really impressed by is just simply how efficient this foliage is. There are so many Unreal Engine 4 Switch games. Is this not where I need to? Oh, it's just showing me the way to get to one of these? Or maybe each gate built a piece of the bridge. But yeah, there are a lot of Unreal Engine 4 games that try really dense foliage, specifically on Switch. and have to like pay a big price for it. But this like looks nice with seemingly little need for sacrifice. Like even the draw distance is nice. Like that's pretty decently far away. Like this scales really well, I think. It's very colorful, I like it. Indie platformers like this really make me want to go back to working on my indie platformer. That's the thing, I don't even know if this wants to be a platformer. Because it seems to have more puzzle elements than platforming elements. I wish it was a platformer, that it maybe put a little more focus on that movement, because hey, I love platformers, maybe I'd like it a little bit more. My curiosity is as insatiable as the wind. In floating cities built from light, we felt we had achieved the pinnacle of our culture, but the staff bearers paved the way to a new world. A better world. Oh yeah, here's the lake, it's all ice. With ice physics. This is awesome. The skipwins. Those I like the interactive aspect of all of these creatures. Like that has a very playful energy, and it also is 100% like a very. This game was directed by somebody who has a background in animation kind of touch. Creatures? Shrouded in legend only appears when it's not being searched for. Playful and curious, excellent swimmers, but sliding on snow seems to be their true calling. Look at that waddle. That's just precious. It's a puzzle platformer with very limited puzzling and platforming. Okay, so that's going there. And oh. Alright. It's time to put my Apple Watch where my mouth is. Because this is about to be a very complex sequence of inputs. Wait, why did that uphill feel good? Like, that didn't feel particularly sluggish, even if the animation suggested it. See, like, look, they have, like, animation where they hunch over when they're going uphill, and they're kind of leading their feet when they're going downhill. And I feel like the momentum changes maybe very slightly to accommodate that. I guess the other areas I was wandering around in didn't have as steep inclines as this, but I really think this should be exaggerated given how large the areas are. I mean, now that I have the, now that I have the surfing, I don't think it's such a big problem. But in the earlier areas where it was really open, and I was just jumping and doing this over and over again, like, this should not be, like, this is Ocarina of Time rolling. I think if you're relying on something like that, then that's like a failure in terms of the movement. So I think smaller areas that eventually opened up to bigger stuff later on would have been nice. And this is definitely bigger relative to the other spots, but I mean like even smaller. This is going to be a nightmare. Oh, I get it. It's like tilted. Right, no, I getcha. I getcha. So this is actually the bottom left, not like the bottom. And then you go to top right, which is still a straight line. And then you you skip over the middle back to the bottom? Not sure why you wouldn't just make the whole thing a diamond, but I think that means this one? No. Wait, now it is this one. Right? Okay, now what? This one again? I don't know what to tell you. That's the one I'm standing on right now, isn't it? No, it's this one. It's not? Like, okay, because it'd be really nice if I could shimmy through those with a lot more ease. This is like the grid upright. So it's telling me to hit the bottom left one. Boom, this is bottom left. Like, that should make sense, right? Oh, wait a second. No, I get it. I get it. I get it. The symbol that it shows tells you which way around to view the grid right side up. So this is the first one you do. Right? No. Because it's matching this symbol now. So I look at it from this side, and now this is right side up. So now it's this symbol. So it would be, this is the new bottom left. And now it's this symbol, and it wants bottom left again, so that would be this one. No? No. Oh, that was bottom right. That would have been bottom left. Okay. What do you want? This version of bottom left? Okay. I feel like this level would be fun if you could do Mario 64 movement on it. Like, just long jumping around it would be a good time. Or Mario Odyssey. Just rolling. Yeah. When I think of the issues that I have with the size of this area and how making slopes a little bit different would go a long way, Mario Odyssey literally just does do that. Okay, so this symbol, go to the top right, which is this one. I do like this puzzle, though. This is thinking in a fun way. Oh, did I, like, misstep? Oh, that's cool. I'm glitching out and I can't move. Okay, let's see. Bottom left. That's upright, so bottom left. And then middle, that one's easy. And then, what is that one? And then the bottom of this? Okay, and then middle right with this as up, so that'd be on this. Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna have to do like a 9-step sequence. That's not so bad. Like, I don't know. Is this a long jump? See, when I was talking about, like, if I'm doing a dash and I want to move, like, slightly to the left or slightly to the right, and I'm not talking about this, when you, like, just drop down after the fact, the long jump literally does, even the Mario 64 version of it, let you slightly adjust to the left and right after making the jump, and that's just, like a basic platforming principle, is being able to, like, correct your jump after you do the jump. And you can do that with, like, this. Like, a little bit. But it's more of, like a turn that you do in this game. As opposed to, like a mid-air strafe, which is more what I'm looking for. And there's no, like, build-up to it, either. Like, you're just doing puzzles, and then you, like, walk up to the get emotional button. And then it happens. Like, it's such a hard switch. It doesn't, like, work you up to it. Yeah, this is really interesting, actually. I think it's, fun to pick apart the actual components of what makes an experience like this work. Oh, what? Always... See, but even this... Like, I was talking about how I liked this little guy, and like, oh, isn't it cool that we're doing these, like, bespoke interactions? But even that, it's like, oh, yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But even that comes out of nowhere. Can I not? There we go. Why? Why? You don't want to come with anymore? Where are you going? We come back. They're gone. They're gone. They died all the way now. Is that a dragon? There's something flying out there. Oh no, okay, they're there. There they are. See, okay, here we go, here we go. We're gonna get another new ability. Let yourselves be light, let yourselves be guided, trust in the light. Okay. Teleport? Oh boy. Listen, I was making the Roblox comparisons in a nice way, but hold on now. Teleports behind you. See that right there? That's the Reddit gif. That's the move that everybody who has seen any trailer relating to OMNO knows. But I am also noticing that you just have to like look at a bell and then you do it. Which doesn't seem like it lends itself. Like, man, that looks cool. And it's animated gorgeously and the camera work is really nice. And this is still a tutorial area, so I'm not going to start ragging on it just yet. But it also, I don't see how that would, like, make any of the other mechanics better. As far as the movement goes. It's just kind of another thing that you get in a vacuum. Music here is really great, though. I'm probably going to listen to this music and then remember nothing else about this game in a year. Oh, that's a timer. Oh, so I want to get up here and then maybe teleport through it? Oh, yeah. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, that kind of makes sense. I mean, there's some interesting perspective puzzles that you could do with it, and they are certainly... Whoa! They are certainly going for that. I mean, it is a really fun single move to do. I mean, you can kind of combine it with other stuff. You could be doing this, and then you could jump in and do this. But it almost feels like the air dash is slower than the surfing now. Unless you could, like, combine air dashes back into surfing, which might be possible. But this area isn't open enough anymore to try something like that out. Also, I need to actually press the time button to open the door. Oh, whoa, whoa. You look back and then you go through the door. Okay. See, this is open. So let's see. You can surf around, you can jump. You cannot combine the surfing and the dashing. You have to, like, let go of the surf, then do the dash, and then... No. No, dude! I was really excited to be proven wrong! Dash, jump. Wow. You cannot transition this move back into the surfing. It doesn't work. You can, like, restart the surfing after doing it, but then you lose all your speed. And here I was about to say that, hey, isn't it shitty how Sonic games do this and mishandle their momentum? And the first thing that I said about this was like, oh yeah, good thing that this isn't that, and then it just is that. Okay, bye. Anyways, this thing is cool. I guess that was the dragon I thought I saw. It was a dinosaur again. That did not make an entry, though. I don't think that's a friend. Oh, okay, sure. Why did this need to be a cutscene? Oh! Just overlaid the text like twice on the same screen. Like, I don't know, you could have just put the area text on the screen without having, like, the character walk towards a certain point. Maybe it's a loading thing. I don't know. Maybe the surfing can connect to the teleporting? That could be maybe cool. The sand carried with the wind polishes the rocks. So simple, so honest, just like the light itself. I have to follow my people through the gate, but the splendor of our world slows my steps. Every single one of these has awesome names. I'm also kind of, like, whelmed at best with this lore stuff. I mean, maybe it'll have some meaning by the end, but comparing this to the Pathless feels like an unfair comparison, because the scale of those productions really are different. But I don't know. As far as the area text in the Pathless goes, like, that was stuff that I actually looked forward to finding. You'd get these little, like, micro, like, character stories, like, just short stories. And I guess that is expressed through longer text. This wants to be, like, 2 lines per pop. I got a Strubs. That's awesome. But I don't know. It's like, in one game, in the Pathless, you're, like, going around, and the text is actually telling you stuff about the area. You know, what the people here did, what any of it was for, shit that went wrong. And even that, too, like, it can have an emotional impact, you know? There are several of those, little text pieces that have, like, stayed with me, that I still remember, that I think are really interesting. Every single one of these has just said something or other about, like, oh yeah, the light, and the staff. And, like, that doesn't mean anything to me right now. Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's just like a launch star then. Alright. Can I have some sparklies? Yeah, thanks. Like, I wish I looked forward to finding those little pause buttons, but they really all seem to be saying the same thing. Oh. Oh. Oh, I see. Yeah, again, having more control over the distance that goes would also be really helpful. Like, I have to stand all the way back here if I want to land on that block. Now, in all fairness, maybe I'm just misremembering how homing attacks in other Sonic games, oh god, have worked. But I feel like you would go a different distance if you were holding up on the analog stick versus whether you were holding any direction at all. Like, that would kind of affect how fast you go and how far you go. This, you kind of just go at, like, a predetermined distance, and then if you want, you can turn around a little bit at the end. But that feels really awkward to do. Oh dear. What if I just, like, stand on this one, though? Oh, okay. It just turns off the collision. I was suspecting that was happening, what was happening on the last attempt. Because the animation wasn't done, so the collision hadn't turned on yet. Which, I mean, I guess if you don't want people to cheat, but maybe, like, for, like, the last little bit, you could let someone do it. Because it's on the way down. And theoretically, like, you could crush the player while doing that, which is probably the bigger thing you'd want to avoid. Oh! So close. There we go. Okay, there's one. There's one. This little friend keeps showing up and giving me like a Y prompt, and then it does nothing. Like, I guess it does a little flip in the same way you would interact with like any of the other I don't know, wildlife here. But this is like my friend who's tagging along with me. I keep thinking that like something more is gonna come of that, but it never does. Did I just go through a wall? You know what I'm also beginning to realize? I think this is a cool way to cross a gap, or to like demarcate different areas. Like, okay, yeah, the last bit ended and the new one is beginning. Let's make a cool transition between those areas. Something really iconic and stylish. That I get. When you're in a big open area like this, I don't know why this is necessary. This, to me, because this is what was fun. This is what was fun. But if they're just letting me do this, then why would I ever surf? Because the surfing at least feels fun to do. But that just looks cool. That isn't fun to do. We have to leave all of it behind. All the beauty, all the creatures, all the connections we've forged. Even the evidence of my pilgrimage. We let go and leave this world. Something bigger awaits us. I guess you kind of get a hint of, like, an idea of something was going on before you got here. But you could also put that text box in, like, any of these areas, and it wouldn't matter where you picked it up. Like, it doesn't really have a connection to the land. What is this? Oh, hello, Kiklutus. Perfectly camouflaged, but they just can't hold still for very long. Why? What does this do? Is it like a gate? Oh, there's a bounce pad. Why do these... I guess you have to stand on them. The early ones, I feel like those were working. Like, if I just jumped above it, I was, like, still affected by the upwards force. But now I have to, like, stand on them. Maybe this is part of what made my game fucking crash earlier. Yeah, like, little perspective tricks like that. Like, getting yourself in the right angle and timing when is a good point to do that. Like, it has potential. I just don't know about, like... its place, I guess. Oh god, especially with stuff like this! That is such a tiny platform to land on, with how imprecise this is. This is like the #1 rule of 3D platformers. Like, take it from me, do not do this shit. Jumping on small platforms like this is not fun. Bigger ones like this, now we're talking. But you can't do that in a 3D game. My jaw's on the floor from that shit. That's not okay. Yeah, even when you have enough airtime, after the dash has ended and you pull out this, you still start from 0 speed. So you can't transition those moves into each other in any way. Let's see if we can transition. I was wondering if you could do this earlier. If you could, like, surf and then do this? You can, but this also, like, makes you put down the surfing. And you start from 0. Which isn't ideal. It is insane to me how many small ways there are to improve upon this and just simply have not been done. I got a dash on these? Oh, I get it. It's like the little, like, lamp targets in a Spectre of Torment. Well, that looks like something. I wonder how I get to that. Well, I'm, like, missing one still. I gotta go back out there. Well, okay. Let's try this. So I guess that tells you how many are left. Okay. But this one, like, just doesn't count. Because this always says, come back later. And I don't know what that means in what seems to be a pretty linear game. Oh, you know what? Maybe gather more energy means get every single other one besides this one, and then come back, and then it'll just give it to you, maybe. So that could be the reward. But I can't think of anything that you would get out of it besides just a label that says 100% before you leave. Hold on. We've got some buttons and switches over here. Oh, thanks, camera. Cacluculus. It is not known whether the little ones are its offspring or praise it as their emperor. Like, every single one of these has been, like, extremely charming and is also, like, valuable flavor text. Like, it's frustrating because there's so much about this that, like, tells you that the people who worked on this, like, know what they're doing. So why isn't it good? Is what I keep coming back to. Wow, yeah, like, literally walking is faster than doing that boarding stuff at this point. Okay, so there's one of these. Oh god, these are some block puzzles if I've ever seen them. There's so many of these. What is going on here? So I need, I think, just to push this, and then I don't need to do any bouncing stuff. This just needs to be in the right spot. Oh, that bounced? Oh, I gotta zigzag it. I think it's in a good spot now, so I just need to figure out how to get back up there. Oh, I guess I just gotta travel back here, maybe? It'd also be interesting if these, like, behaved as zip lines somehow, where you could, like, drop off halfway through. But I guess that would run counter to the nature of being able to do these from, like, anywhere where you can see them. Because I was thinking, like, oh, well, what if I angle my little Y button path? Like, I go over that bridge on the way to this, and then maybe I can, like, drop off and get that little lore thingy. But it's just not possible. I mean, at least for areas like this, I get it, though. What really confuses me are the ones, like, in the middle of nowhere. No, you know, I'll continue to press the Y button, although I still don't know why I would do this. I guess it giggles. Okay, goodbye. Where's what I assume is one half of what needs to be done? Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, it's fun to cross gaps, but this still drives me crazy. Just put something interesting between these 2 points, and then it's not bad to do. Like, there would be enough here that I wouldn't even feel the need. Like, oh, there needs to be a fast travel here. I'm gonna tear my hair out from all this boring waiting I'm doing. You know? Like, I don't know, put some little rocks you can, like, slalom between. Like, little paths of collectibles. I mean, if the energy that they want to go for is like, oh, this place is, like, sparse and desolate and your friend is dying. Like, maybe, sure, don't put fun stuff here. But that's also not true of the snow area or earlier in here. Because they have the twinklies. But that has consistently required you to, like, stop whatever you're doing and just press a button. But no, you know what? Yeah, if they want this to be like a platformer, then make like some fun stuff to collect, like just like micro things besides just like the main collectibles. Oh, I selected the wrong one. That's cool. Just kind of decided that for me. Alright, predictions. Is something going to die by the end of this? Either my little friend is sick, or this thing's gonna die, and then it's gonna get better because we help it, and it's gonna play some big inspiring music, and maybe it'll give us a ride even. I don't think our friend's gonna make it, personally. I think our friend is maybe not gonna die, but maybe, like, its spirit will have moved on. Something like this. So why did I want to do that? Can I take the light with me when I do the warps? Maybe? No, I can't. However... Oh, and I also can't surf while doing this. Oh, if you fall, you lose it. Okay. So you can't bring it down here without dropping it. And I guess it just goes back to wherever it was. Well, then what is that for? Because I don't see anything else that I can bring it to. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Wait a second. I see 2 things I can bring it to? Okay, so... I'm able to climb this. And I got it from here. So I think I just want to bring the block all the way to this side, and then I carry it. There we go, okay. Still don't know how you get to that thing on the other side, though. Oh, you can just go straight here. I still would like to know how to get up there, though. Like, this is calling to me for some reason. And I'm gonna be entirely disappointed by whatever it is that I read up there. And yet I want to go up there anyways. Like, I don't know, for as much as I was talking about, like, oh, this stuff doesn't matter, why would I even bother collecting it? I still am trying to, like, make as many opportunities for me to be proven wrong by that as I can. Because you never know. Like, I haven't played this game. I don't know how it ends. So if I don't know every little thing in it, you know, you gotta do some research before you come to a conclusion. The howling wind seems to bemoan my leaving. With every step I get closer to the prophesized land. Closer to a life in the light, free of my burdens. Alright, well, we still got a name drop of light, but at least it has something to do with the sand, and it is close to the end of the area. So, that's something. That's like a B. Alright, this bird has been, like, screeching in my ear this entire time. We gotta put a stop to this. Cavolta Canyon. See, it's gonna eat my friend. I don't think my friend is eating in this scene. I think we're fine. Oh. It's just gonna give me a ride. There's no cool thing that happens between us. Shouldn't there be like a Y prompt? Just jump on it? Okay then. Now, do I get to control this? I can like wiggle and it makes the camera really jerky, but no, I'm not controlling this. Which is a shame, because a flying segment would be awesome and would be a great evolution of the gliding controls that it's already established. But no, you fly and it plays pretty music. Wait, big open area, maybe now I control it? I'm still trying to fight it with the analog stick, but it's not letting me. No, it's really insistent on just making you look at things. What are you planning on playing after this in terms of indie stuff? Chicory is on the docket. Chicory I have much higher hopes for, because I haven't heard much about OMNO, aside from like my own passing knowledge of it. Chicory I'm expecting to be emotional vibe game, but like good way. So I've got that lined up. I've got Fez lined up. Fez I literally already have on my Switch. Chicory I do not. And then maybe I have other stuff maybe that doesn't immediately come to mind. But hopefully one of these will hit just right. Anyways, it's time for me to talk about what else I don't like about this. Oh, that bird is just fucking gone now. Why this feels like wasted potential. Because out of all the little... Well, not so little. Out of all the big guys that have helped us out so far, that bird is the first one that was foreshadowed. And there was like a sad moment with our friend. So I thought that both of those things being established meant that it was like going to build to something. I'm like, alright, well... The issue with this game's attempted emotional hits not landing is surely because it's not doing any build-up. It's just jumping immediately into the payoff without any of the hard, heavy lifting that has to be done prior to that. Now, okay, well, you establish a bird. This is like a character that we're coming to know. It's like traveling through the landscape with us. As we progress through the area, so does it. And then it's like standing at this like climactic area. It's like gnawing on something. All right, some shit is gonna go down here when I find it. It's like, nope, it's friendly, gives you a ride, cool music, still can't control it. And that in particular seems like a especially fun thing to pilot as well. I would have loved a bird riding section. That would have wowed me. But they won't let me. They won't let me be wowed. The gate. Are we already here? Was there something at the start of the game that I missed? Because in like Journey, I got that you were like climbing the mountain. This is just like areas to me, unless I missed something. I don't think you did miss anything, but I wouldn't blame you for thinking that nothing is going on, because like, I don't know. For as simplistic as the destination is and the motivation and the goal, like, you could have gotten this across without text. And even with the text that you get. It says a whole lot of nothing. Regice, Regice, Regice. Well, no, Regice, like Regice, Regice. I don't know, this sounds like a fucking Sammy Claus comic fan creature. Whoa! Okay. Wait, what? Oh! I think I just... The screen cut to black, but my input for the portal still worked. So I, like, didn't die. That was neat. But yeah, I don't know. There are people going on a pilgrimage, and they came before you, and they're trying to get to the gate. And whether or not this is a metaphor for, like, moving on in life, you know, maybe they're going to the afterlife, who knows? Okay, it's just like a sand area part 2, I guess. It's got more trees, though. Looks a little more densely populated. Could slalom around some trees, even. I'm gonna try it. We'll see if it feels good. We got some dinosaurs. A little more life here. Tajiris. See, like, this area already, like, feels way more fun to traverse than the previous 2 that you had the surfing for. Beyond the light in the distance, there is so much to see and discover. I rest with my gaze averted, the refreshing water glinting at my feet. Is there water? There was water. Because, like, look, it's like... Oh, dear. It's like a puddle of... Well, not a puddle, but, you know. A big segment of darkened and, like... What's sort of... Submerged, maybe? Like, the elevation there is lower than it is of what I'm standing on. And it's like a big thing. Like, you could put a bunch of water here, and it would be an oasis. But time has passed, so it is no longer an oasis. Wait a second. Now, how is this gonna work here? Oh, not like that. There's no Y button. I guess I have to find the off button for the nature. You ever think about how in Bionicles, there's both a Toa of stone and a Toa of earth, and stone and earth are treated as distinct elements despite there being very little difference between them? No, I haven't thought about that. Although, weirdly enough, I did get into Bionicles a little bit as a kid. Can I, like, climb on these as long as I avoid the spikes? I actually can. Fair enough, fair enough. Oh. Ah. Okay. It's kind of cool. Wait, I said as a joke the off button for nature. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I remember watching a few of those, like, movies as a kid. I know they had, like, some... Even, maybe they were theatrical, but I watched them on fucking VHS. And I know that there was, like... I watched, like, maybe 1 or 2. But as I understand it, Bionicle lore is actually insane. Like, I was really only scratching the surface. Those games went nuts. Those games. That IP, I suppose, went nuts. Although, speaking of early childhood memories with games, I was talking about during Darkened Sky how the way that game looks resembled a mysterious PC game that my dad had. I actually remember that another game I had on the PC was like a Bionicles game. And I remember there being like a lava area like right at the beginning, and it was really hard and I couldn't do it and I never got past it. I had a couple of like PC games. I had a Tonka game which had some like plastic accessories that like just didn't work. Like you could plug in the big old plastic hammer. The computer wouldn't fucking recognize it, so you can't play the game. Sorry. And I might have had maybe like it was like an Arthur game or like a Caillou game, kind of point and clicky, one of those kind of vibes. There was something else that I had really foggy memories of That was right. Oh, one of the other games that I want to do in January is Freddy Fish 3. If possible, right now the current release of Freddy Fish 3 on the Switch has some sound issues, and they say they're gonna patch it by the end of the month. So I'll play it when that happens. But there was a Freddy Fish game that I played at preschool. They had a computer at the preschool, and you could go on the computer for like a few minutes and play some Freddy Fish, but I never made any progress. There was also like a Lilo and Stitch game for the PC, and I remember that I think that one plays like Crash Bandicoot. There's like a section where like you're being chased, like you're running towards the camera, and you're being chased by fucking Child Protective Services. There's like the dude with the sunglasses. I might stream that. I think it's also on PS1. I've looked into this. My memory of Lilo and Stitch for the PC is not at all foggy. Not that I'm planning to do that in January, but, you know, I want to eventually. Every step means letting go, turning away from the abundance of our world. Severing my connections to it requires a power I fear I do not possess. Maybe I'm not as strong as my people. Nevertheless, I forge on. Bionicle elements be like fire, water, ice, air, earth, and earth 2. There's no lightning element for some reason. Despite lightning being the coolest element. Nah, just have 2 rocks. Oh, so why is this, right? Bionicle Aura is actually great conceptually. It's like Xenoblade Chronicles, but on the inside of gods instead of the outside. Is that for real? Do I need to become like an adult Bionicles fan? Let me use my little thingy to find where the collectibles are. This is not promising. Where are they? Bird. Maybe I'll be able to ride it for real in the next section. Maybe. Does it only show you if you're like close enough to them? Well, it looks like something I can zip to, but I guess not. There's gotta be something up there. Are you kidding? Maybe I have to like get on top of this rock and then I can zip to it? Like I gotta be at like a good angle for it? This seems right to me. Oh, oops. Bionicles, Freddy Fish, and Lego Island were my gaming childhood. Or rather, my earliest gaming childhood. You know what? This brings back another very important memory. Is that I did not grow up with Lego Island 1. But I did grow up with Lego Island 2. And from what I understand, people seem to like the first one a lot better than the second one. But Lego Island 2 is like a stream series. Would be like really fun. Although I have no idea how to be able to play something like that. That's right! I've been bringing this shit up as far back as like 2018. There was a VeggieTales point-and-click game where you got like stranded on an island. And that one I very vividly remember too, and I want to stream that one so badly. That sounds like such a fun stream series, but I suppose it just was not meant to be. Ticking? Why ticking? Oh, it just opens this up, I guess? Why? Oh, it's like a chain. Oh. But if you fail to do it, when the chain ends, you just have to walk back. And that's a long distance because of the teleportation. Yeah, so whimsical. Wow, I'm so inspired to backtrack. I wonder what kind of world awaits us within the light. When I step through the gate, I will take every memory of every blade and grass and every grain of sand with me and honor the memory of our world and every creature within. Oh, there's just one chilling in here. Okay, sure. Oh, dear. Camera did not seem to agree with that. I have fonder memories of Lego Island 1, but it was also actually bad and weirdly creepy. Yeah, I mean, I've seen plenty of Lego Island 1, like, streams. And I kind of pick up what you're putting down with that one. Can I not? I was able to do this last time. Why can't I go? Maybe you have to be, like, up on the platform to do it? Which is weird considering how usually open-ended those portals are, but sure. I guess this is to, like, force you to have a range. Because what's stopping me from zipping to the very last one? Because there's no limit on how far you can do these. But if they make it so that you can only get to them when you're standing on them, then maybe that's different. It's actually something... I don't even have to do this. I can just do something easier. Okay. Can I turn this on, or do I need power? I need power. Where do I get power? Oh, you know I love zipping through gates. Okay, we have an on button. Is this another puzzle, or...? No, I think you carry it. Okay. You can't, surf while holding this, so you just have to walk in a straight line for, like, 40 seconds. That's cool. I also remember spending hours doing boundary break stuff in Lego Island 2. The degree to which your movement was restricted made some parts scary as a kid, in a Pac-Man kind of way. Yeah, there are, like, a lot of, old games that I played as, like, a little kid that I would like to return to as, like, a stream series. Because, like, so many of these, I was a fucking idiot kid. I don't think I completed a single one of those games. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, VeggieTales just comes up weirdly often on these streams as a topic. So it has value in that sense. But also, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a part of me that still sincerely wanted to know if they ever got off that island. Like, what happens? Like, I want to know how this shit ends. Although I think the Freddy Fish one, I don't even know if Freddy Fish 3 is the one that I grew up with. I'll play it anyways, though. It's the closest I'm gonna get. Why 3, though? Why not the whole series? Because they have, I think on Steam, on Windows, you can just get the humongous games as, like, one giant collection. But I think with, the Switch releases, it's only Putt-Putt Travels Through Time, and... it's that, and, yeah, Freddy Fish 3. Which is weird, because, like, all the way back in 2019, they're like, yeah, that's right, the Humongous Games Collection, coming to Switch by the end of the year. And then they went radio silent for 3 years, and then only had 2 games out of the collection to show for it, which is a little bit concerning. Ah! Wait, I can still get it? I can still... oh, man. I was gonna give it one last shot, but you know what? I'm gonna give it one last shot, because I've decided that that was bullshit, and I want to try again. Kaloobs. I like Kaloobs. Oh, I thought these were their faces, like they were like birds. Those are their tails. I'm like, why are their feet on backwards? I mean, I know that there are solutions right now where, like, for really old, like, DOS games and maybe Windows 95, at this point you can run that shit in a browser, and there are, like, pretty good browser emulators that you can use. So as far as me being on Mac and wanting to do these, like, experiences that I knew as a kid only on Windows, I don't know. How much longer, like, do you think it's going to be? Oh, okay, I just dashed into the ground. Cool. Until we get, like, a Windows XP browser emulator. Because XP ran on, like, pretty low-spec systems, right? And then it was, like, Vista that, like, upped the spec requirements. People were cranky about that at the time. Windows XP is like, you could do that, right? I mean, if they're not signing it. Wait a second, this isn't the gate. Where's the gate? Yeah, I'm going like past it. Hold on, hold on. I'm just going to a direction that I vaguely recognize as forwards. It's like, well, it's the opposite of where I started, so it's got something to it. This is the comeback with 100% portal. Oh, it's over here. It's over here. Still that bird shadow. It's still got a chance to come back. Maybe I'm judging this story as over. We'll see how the next area transitions. But this game really seems to have a formula and likes sticking to it, so I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, this is all filled in. So what do you want me to do now? I can press this. I don't know. Oh, I getcha. Gotta like zip between these three. Do you need to fill that all the way up and just like keep repeating the process? Because that's like... that shit drains fast. How many times am I gonna have to do this? Oh, maybe not too much. Oh. And then that opens up. Okay. And then oh, is it like a mirror puzzle? Oh, depending on where you swing it to, you get different things to zip to. Okay. Well, this one seems like a dead end, so I'll do this one first. Come on. Oh, there's another mirror here. And then this is... I think going to the right spot, but I have to move that first? Or do I have to do this? Okay, so... the boxes only get turned on when that's lit. Oh, this is gonna be cheeky. Watch this. Watch how they're gonna do this. So I'm gonna... wait a second, what? If two are pointing to the same receptacle, it just turns it off. Weird. Okay. More backtracking for me. Look at this, look at this, look at this. I'm gonna move this box. Oh, never mind. I thought it was gonna like start blocking that light, so I would have to like reconfigure everything a second time, but it's actually not the case. Which means I never had to move this one at all. Although it's still not too late to fuck everything. We'll see what this does first. Oh, it just opens the door. Okay. A summary of the Bionicles world lore. Okay. All the living beings are some... okay, I can't. Okay. I'm gonna take a sip and then a deep breath, and then I'm gonna read the summary. Better idea, though. This game is gonna make me just, like, not play anything for, like, a full minute. This will be when I read the lore. You know, I just realized, I don't know what made me think of this, but I've got, like, some rice in the fridge, like, some really good rice, and I'm, like, looking forward to reheating that after this. Okay. There's more here. There's more here. I maybe underestimated how much more there was to do. Jeez. Like, what about this is supposed to make me feel, like, inspired? I can't even, like, put a finger on the feeling that I want to be getting out of this, because I don't think inspired is correct. I mean, sometimes, like, experiences like that can be inspiring in terms of, like, oh yeah, I would like to do something like this one day, but I don't think that's what this is even setting out for. Oh, that feels really awful. Yeah, I think I want it over here. Oh, wait a second, what? Is this not on a grid system? When it bonks into a wall, it like bounces back at like an inconsistent amount? That is really weird. I thought it was just a grid system. Why is it not a grid? That feels wrong. Also, oops. Yeah, no cool save this time. Okay, well the box is, like, look at that, it's like tilted. Are these just like physics objects for some reason? I don't know, maybe I'll point it all the way over here, see what happens? But then why would I want to do that? It seems that what I want to do is get it pointed all the way over. Oh no, it did reset the boxes actually. It did reset the boxes, so I want to put it back in. Back to the left. Wow, that's going to be a pain in the ass actually. That's not touching? I don't know, just generally moved. Yeah, it's like getting stuck on shit and like rotating slightly. Are these not? That is bizarre. Why would you build your block pushing system like that? For how much time the block pushing takes up within the game, you know? Okay, so can I reach that? Oh. Oh, so how do I... Oh, but if there's only one light... Now that's a puzzle. Oh, I zip over to it, Griffin, that's how. I'm like trying to figure out, in a world without teleporting, how I'm gonna figure this out. I think they go all the way to the edge. Oh wait, so that box stayed where it is this time. Okay. Yeah, I'll just let it come to me. They touch, they touch. They're pretty forgiving, just if you're jumping regularly. Oh, do these carry you when you jump? I'm gonna die if I test this, but better sooner than later. They do carry your momentum when you jump, so props to that. So why would I want to be here exactly? Because this is just the same way to get back over here. What I need to be able to do is move that, but how? Wait. Huh? Oh, weird. Oh, wait a second. Okay. I thought both of these were going to the same box. This is not true. I think that's where my confusion comes as to whether or not this puzzle is resetting. So this is currently in the way, and I need to move it out of the way. And fuck it, nothing's grid-based. Move it even more than I should be allowed to. Like, why? Why is that possible? Whether or not you can actually do the jumps to these seems kind of inconsistent as well. Like, there are times when I can pretty clearly see something is in my reticle, and it's like lighting up and I'm pressing Y and it just doesn't happen. Yeah, it lights up the relevant box that you need to move. Okay, so I do this one more time. Oh, that doesn't go all the way to the edge. Okay, that should be a clear opening. Let's go back. Let's go home, Danny. Phew. Okay. Are you guys ready for your mandatory whimsy? However, this is not like a creature. This is like a... This is the gate, I think, that we've been trying to get to. Yeah, it's one of these. All the living beings are sort of techno-organic hybrid creatures. The majority of the story takes place within the Maturin universe, which is many massive spheres of domes containing continents. These domes are so large that these domes are sometimes connected by usually hidden passages, and they're all within different parts of a planet-sized godlike spirit robot who controls various spirits. The robot and spirits were created by a precursor race to explore the universe, but I'm less familiar with those parts of the lore. Perfectly timed. And that's Bionicles. I'm sorry, I skipped a line. So large that residents often aren't aware that other domes exist. That's the lore. And yet it's still with time to spare, actually. Okay, so we're back here now, I guess? What did we learn? Why, though? Why are you doing this? I guess, like, the gate is pretty clearly the theme of death. But, like, this thing's going to die. And there's no reason for it. I think it looked a little bit sadder now. I don't know. Like, very slightly. That could just be complete guesswork, though. Yeah, if there's one word that I would use to describe this game, it is definitely abrupt. I think a lot of the emotional development it wants me to have, it's like abrupt. Oh, I go this way, okay. Animation and color work is still really nice, but I just wish it was in service of something that was able to touch me. I feel like if you want to make a game about dead pets, that's like so easy. Like, who doesn't cry about that? That especially should resonate with me. So why is it that when I see this, I say, fuck off? Oh, ZR to float? Oh, it's okay, so it's more of like a glide than a float. And I don't know where I'm going. Okay, alright. I don't know why I got turned around 180 degrees. I feel like this was introduced in, like, the wrong order. Like, maybe this area should have come before the desert? Because the teleporting lets you move faster and traverse more distance. So this still feels like a downgrade relative to that. Anyways, I've just realized that it has been like 2.5 hours, like more, closer to 2 3/4 actually. I'm probably just gonna end here. I don't know how long this game is. This is like a whole new area. I can't imagine it's a one-sitting game. Maybe it is. A lot of these tend to be, and I'm usually down for that, but you know what? How long to beat OMNO? Oh, you're very close to the end? I'll just look up like a thing. Oh, 4 hours? Yeah, I'll just go long tonight then, sure. I've already been here for like nearly 3. Yeah, I guess with that in mind, I can't imagine that they can milk the "oh no, something is wrong with your little guy" for much longer without needing to do anything with it. But then again, this game loves foreshadowing things and then doing nothing with that foreshadowing, so who knows? I guess, like, we did find a gate and now we're in like a heaven place, so maybe even that's resolved. We'll need to find some pause buttons to tell us more about this. Yeah, if this is like a one-off, that makes things a lot easier for me, because then boom, I can just do chicory even sooner. really like these clouds. Low poly fluffiness is something that can be tricky to pull off, I would imagine. And yet, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good here. That's cute. That's cute. I can't wait for it to die. I guess just glide from here. Okay, there's like updrafts you can ride. Oh, look at these creatures. See, like this, I'm still technically not doing much of anything. But I'm still, like, in full control, and it's in the middle of an area. That was called a flobs, by the way. So it's clearly possible for them to do those, like, segments where you're just watching shit happen and still be in control. More stuff like this is what they need. I will say, though, that as much as I am satisfied by the idea of being in control, the actual controls for this are, like, not fun. I'm scared of, like, surfing down this because I don't want to go, like, careening off of any cliffs. Zippy? Zippy. The slowdown is a clever way to mask loading times as well. Because the wind-up has, like, a different... The Yakap Mesa. Or, Yakaf Mesa? Slam the rock. What the hell was it saying? Oh yeah, the wind-up is, like... is of a variable length based on how long it takes to load the other side that you're zipping to. And this is the 100% bonus, okay. Apatoris. I haven't been looking at these entries for a while. Attentive and watchful. Quick to warn off territorial invaders by swooping and diving. Once land-bound, they have adapted to the eternal updrafts and are now seem fated to never touch solid ground again. With their sensitive notices, they make noises that family members can hear over great distances. These creatures can sense slight vibrations under the ground by using their broad heads, and leathery skin protects these creatures from the sun while the wind flow cools them down. They have an eerie, far-reaching call. I'm sorry, and the Blunties, of course. Oh yeah, looking at the creatures, there's only like 6 left. We can finish this tonight. Wow, that was some weird legend. Some weird legend. I guess I can glide down to this now. Yeah, okay. And this, too, cannot easily transfer to the surfing. I feel the end of my journey approaching. Tired, I listen to the rustling trees and the blooming meadows, moving unerringly with the wind. Everything is peaceful. Where does this connect to? Do I glide, maybe, after using it? Oh, wait a second. I think I have to... Maybe I glide around it. Like I go to the opposite side? Because I think there's a ledge up there. I think that's what it wants me to do. Like I have to hover around the perimeter, or the circumference. But you gotta start with the zip. Or with a dash. I'm calling everything a zip in this game. I got a zip around the ledge. Yeah, that is what you do. There we go. There's like a certain radius to that you have to get used to. Wow, that's already 2 out of 3. I see a couple of points of interest here. That one seems closest. Oh no, that's the 100% thingy. Well, how about this? It's over here. Okay, so probably some climbing. The Astendions. Oh, that's backwards. Also known as float lilies, they utilize the wind to move from place to place. Okay, so 6 more starting now. Ugh. You know what? I'm gonna say something maybe a little bit not nice about this, which is that, like, I've been saying, oh, at least the music is nice so far, but it just occurred to me, like, if you were to ask me how any of this music goes, oh, could you hum a few bars from literally any piece? I could not tell you. Oh, you know, it sounds nice. That's OMNO. You know what I'm also surprised to find is that the collectible requirement for every area never goes above or below 3. You'd think that, like, in earlier areas it would ask for less, and then in later areas it would ask for more. I feel like that would be like a nice, like, transition to, like, encourage you to explore more, but 3 is like... I guess if I want to get this over with faster, then they're being nice to me in particular, but... All this creatures, all this beauty, I can hardly remember what we hope to find in the world beyond the gate. The grasp of my feet, the dances in the clouds above me, all of it is humble, aimless, yet beautiful. Okay. I don't know if that, like... Whenever I press A to try to advance that text box, it just opens a menu, so I think it closes on its own. So I'm always worried it's going to close before I'm done reading it. So this is not the gate, then. This is not the gate yet. I can go here. See, notice how that, like, took kind of longer? How would I want to be here, though? Does it give me, like a unique angle to find another zip location? Because there's, like, some cool structures in the distance, but none of them have portals on them. Maybe up here? This is just, like, text, but could be something. No, why would I... That's clearly what it turned on, though, right? I'm trying to see... It looks like maybe I can find a way to climb up there. In fact, maybe even by jumping on all the bridge stuff is how I get to that particular thing of lore. But I didn't see anything that looked like particularly jump-onable. Like, there's some high-up stuff. And once you're up there, it looks like maybe you can do something, but from down here, it's just, like, all flat, and there's nothing you can really use. Okay. Does this do anything once it's solved? I think this just tells me what the 100% thingy is over there. But I can, double check to make sure that that's what it's telling me about. Oh, because it's not. That's the 100% thingy. And the symbol on the map was over here. Oh, but this is just the... Okay. Maybe I could use one of these, though. Not just for collectibles, just to see where I'm actually going. I mean, the only thing of interest I can see is the bridge, but I do see a much quicker way for me to get to that lore thingy. Yeah, it's just down here. That is a lot simpler than the crazy bridge antics I was picking up. The staff bearers guided our searching people, constantly pointing towards the light. But when I look back at the world we've abandoned, I see so much yet to discover. Well, you know what? There is like a sparkling thing up there. My eventual conclusion was, oh, never mind, that's out of bounds, but I don't think it is. I think I am supposed to be here. But what do I do once I get here? There's gotta be more zip points. There's gotta be something. So much of this looks like quote-unquote something, though, and yet none of it is. I can't get up to any of this. Wait a second, maybe I can? There's like a little bit of ground that you can get around on that tiny little corner there. I haven't seen anything that looks climbable so far. This is like the first indication. Can I get here? Can I get on this? I think I have to get on the rail or the banister. I don't know what you would call this if it's just a single block. But maybe from here onto this? Oh, okay. Now what? Oh, maybe I can like glide down here. This does not feel intended. This feels incorrect. I might be able to like glide around to the other side of it. None of this feels good. Oh no, I just immediately lose the ability and then I die. Okay, so why is this here then? There's nothing to read. There's nothing to find. I mean, it probably has to do with these. Are these interactable maybe? Like I can move the bridge chunks somehow? Oh, okay. They have buttons. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. This is not the first tree actually. This is some Spirit of the North shit. I don't know if there's like a way to know the combination, but I have experience with cracking these. Except wait a second. I think I'm doing this wrong. So, okay. Let's get them all to this position. And then 1E. I don't know what. 1ED1. Okay, so you would want to do it from right to left, I guess? And then you change this. You should look for the solution because there's 64 possible combinations. Yeah, but if it takes like 2 seconds, then that's like 128 seconds. And I can swing 128 seconds. I've been here for 3 hours. I can do 128 seconds easy. See, if I can beat the puzzles in Darkened Sky, I can beat these puzzles too. It's just like the Darkened Sky puzzle. Brute forcing this is going to be more tedious. I just got a quarter of the way through. After all I've overcome. Like, the only thing that I've learned from this game is walking up to things and pressing Y. There have been no other puzzles that have required this level of observation or caring or investment. And I'm not about to start when I've got 6 creatures left on the Critterpedia. This isn't like the Darkened Sky puzzle. Sorry, I misread. Yeah, that's true, because the Darkened Sky puzzle told you whether or not you got any particular piece right. The order for this is not the case. Okay, that's halfway through. If it takes 5 seconds per try, it's going to take 5 minutes total. But we could get there faster than that. You guys just don't like my lock-picking skills. I mean, hey. Here's a look for a couple of seconds at the featureless background. If you have any idea how I would know to do this, then good luck. Be my guest. The Darkened Sky puzzle had like less than 20 possible solutions because it told you at each step. Yeah. Okay, so that's back to the 1. So this is the last quarter of solutions. And I don't know why I'm starting with this pillar, because I need to start with the right one. See, figuring out how to do that, I think, is a challenge in its own way, you know? Like, that still took some level of, like, reasoning to be able to figure out. Not that it's a good puzzle, but, you know. I just like to feel smart for... Oh, the solution was right here? Okay, so 1DE. Oh, wait. No, actually. I thought this had the solution on it, and I was going to feel very stupid, but actually, no. I have no idea where I was supposed to have read about this. Okay, 1DE. Oh! There was a pillar on the first floor that told you the answer, actually. Yeah, I wasn't processing that at all. Can you imagine if I still didn't get it? And I did that like 3 more times? Oh, okay then. Maybe I can land on that rock? Nope. There we go, that's what I was trying to do earlier. Oh, if you're already holding ZR, it just doesn't work. You have to, like, let go of it and then start holding it again. Alright, then. Just kept brute forcing it. Guys, it's not telling me! I just need to answer this for myself. That had the solution on it? Yeah, that was a... I don't know what I would call that character. Maybe an A or a backwards P. AED. Or pad, I guess. Okay, I'm just gonna go nice and slow. Okay, well this one is only... Oh. So that's... D-A-I. Die. I don't know what all this other stuff is here for. I feel like there's other... Like, there's a cool tree and stuff, and that's just not for anything. Ah, wait, that was the A. D-A-I? I think it was. Yep. I knew that looked interesting. Looks way too interesting to not be anything. Yep. Yeah, I'm good. Like, this is cute. It'd be interesting if the movement abilities were somehow derived from the little partner character, so that when this thing inevitably dies, it's like, oh fuck, look at all the cool stuff that I can't do anymore. Do I zip through this or glide through this or what? Because I think I just do this. Whoa! Oh, flying section? I think I'm supposed to just do this now. But boy, imagine if the transition between these abilities was actually smooth. Because I can tell what it's wanting me to do. It's like, oh, remember all the abilities? Let's make you do them all at once now. Which should be an awesome idea. Like, that, it's not bad game design to be doing it, but the movement does not transition into the other moves very well. So it feels very satisfying when, like, you're doing a bunch of switching and the switching doesn't feel good. A little more height on that. I don't know why we're exploring the limits of all these moves at the same time. It feels like these should have been fleshed out earlier than this. If this is like the big conclusion, maybe. Because that's the sense that I'm getting from this. Is this where I started? No, there's new foliage. There's a bunch of collectibles. Polyang Heights. So this is probably the last area then. I just want to read, please. I pressed X instead of Y by accident. Please ignore me. Please ignore my inputs. So much light surrounds us, and so little of it is evident to us. It is part of every creature and every stone. It has always been with us, but somewhere along the way we began sailing against the wind. I can't wait for all of this to go completely nowhere. I'd like it if anything finally started happening, but I just get the nagging feeling that it's just going to, perhaps, for lack of a better word, abruptly end. Alright then. Well, I didn't have to do that, but you know. If there's one thing that I like to do in this game, it is to look at it. And those are good areas to do. Except, I don't like looking at it because I complain at the parts where it makes me look. I guess the difference is choosing to look rather than, like, you know, them grabbing your neck and turning your head in this direction and say, look. Look at how awe-inspiring this is. I think that's why I was saying inspiring earlier instead of moved. I was looking for the word awe-inspiring. That looks like a thing I can turn on later. Okay, big puzzle in the middle. Let's do that. See, so you can kind of transition into those two moves, but that's like... You still lose a lot of speed from it. Alright. Whoa! Whoa! That's neat. I get the feeling that maybe a little bit too much development time is devoted to these, like, interactions for, like, 40 different creatures. And then, like, they spend, like, 2 days putting together block pushing. It's like, alright, that's OMNO, everybody. Okay. I have to check. I have to make sure that this is not like a password for something. What's the password? Oh no, it's in backwards writing. Where can I find an on button for this? Where can I find the on and the no? There's some sort of light over here. These are actually kind of distracting, I'm finding. Because I can see like a lot of big glowies, but I can't see the actual collectibles. In my search for freedom, I tethered myself to a false ideal, losing sight of what lay in front of me. Clarity comes, but it comes too late. My pilgrimage must continue. Oh, there's something over here. Oh, is each challenge like its own little island now? Oh, here's an on and an O button. Oh, not one of these, not one of these. I already wasted so much time. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, over there? Why? Let me have it. Every time I press Y, it, like, removes... Why is there no flow? Why is it so clunky? Like, when you're actually targeting a thingy, like, that feels fine. But if the target, like, doesn't click into place and you press Y, it just drops this, which makes it even harder to get the reticle lined up. Okay, well there's one. Let's like look for more islands, I guess? Because there's definitely something over there, too. Whoa, 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 whoa! Simmer down, little guys. But like, what do they do? What do you do? Oh, it's coming back down a little bit? No. I think I can interact with these. Ah. Oh, dear. Okay. Yeah, I'll just drop. Whatever. Whatever, it's fine. This also sucks. Every time you get boosted by these guys, I have to let go of ZR and then start holding it again. If I'm holding ZR between any of those, then it just doesn't work. I don't know why it wouldn't maintain the state. That's really odd. Oh. Just magical, isn't it? Oh, the ledge! Okay. Phew, that's 2 out of 3. That's few out of 3. Is there a zip back home? I can probably just glide. Okay. That's still not on. Oh, this is probably the thing that turns on once you get all the collectibles, right? Because this is where the statue was? Yeah, okay. Let's try going to the top of the mountain. Like if I zip over to that, maybe? Oh. Is anybody else noticing the violently vibrating rectangle where the mushroom meets the rest of the Whoa. The rest of the model? Whoa! Why does it sometimes turn into like a glitchy black rectangle? Huh? Alright. That's just part of the creature lore. If you look up in the entry in the Critterpedia, that's just what it does. It glows and then it flickers, and that's what it uses that to ward off its predators. I don't think there's any reason for me to be up here. Okay, so right now I go here, and there was a bunch of stuff that was off here. I would have to assume that it's on now. So what do you do? What is your seat? What? Huh? What? Oh, it turns on whatever it's lined up with. And I think it just keeps moving on its own. Oh, so you probably have to like keep up with it. And go in like the full loop around. That's kind of cool. You're like using all your abilities? It's kind of neat. Huh? Why did the camera, like, look left? I didn't want to be left. I wanted to follow where that was going. To what end did I do any of that? Feels like there was supposed to be a last location for me to land at, where I would, like, find the next step of the puzzle. It just, like, made me do a sharp left turn, and then I guess there was, like, lore maybe that I could have gotten? It's, like, nearby where I landed. Is that all that's here? Because it looks like there's a lot more. Well, maybe up there. It's certainly not down here. I'll try it again, I guess. Come on. No? Okay. Well, I think I can do it from here. Oh, you know what? I think I do have to be up there, because these gates aren't lit up. Maybe when I actually do it from that starting point, it'll actually consider the sequence started. So maybe that's why it messed up at the end, because it wasn't doing it right. But this reticle really does not like to appear. Like, I don't know how to more perfectly focus on that. There we go. See, there we go. They're making the Regigigas noises now. Oh! Okay, well, that one was my fault, I guess. Oh. Yeah, it's coming back around. Can I just press it again? Oh, it just, like, snaps it back to the start. That's kind of handy. Doesn't count? I guess they're already lit, though. Okay, I guess I'll just drop, sure. One's the, what am I trying to say? If you're trying to do, like, fast, snappy movements like that, where you're trying to, like, rely on the teleport thingy appearing, if it doesn't show up, like, you're kind of immediately fucked. You have, like a teensy bit of grace time to maybe sneak a second shot in there, but with this mid-air stuff, if it doesn't show up, you just fall out of range. Like, you might have a little bit of a chance, but later on, you'll definitely have just no chance. Ah. I mean, if the targeting was better, that could have been fun. But it's not, so it wasn't. This camera loves to jerk around. I hope these aren't timed. Oh! Okay, note to self, do not do that against a diagonal surface. Or you will, unfortunately, get that side-to-side movement that you were asking for earlier, but not in the way you meant. That's a monkey's paw wish. Oh, look at this creature. The little, like, I don't know, pointy details make it look like a piñata. I'm gonna whack it with my staff and a bunch of candy's gonna come out. Oh. The Doka lore? Early carvings of the staff bearers show them with these beings, riding in harmony, but they've been missing for countless generations. Okay, I'm gonna ride on the piñata now. Maybe I can control this and fly! Like, it'll be a cool subversion of, oh, you've been looking for all the other ones, but not for this one. Now you get to control it. I regret to report. You know what? I don't think I ever was controlling it when I tried to use the left stick. I think it just, like, moves the camera. Like, I'm not moving this at all. I'm just looking left and right. That's why I said it was jerky earlier. Okay, let's just put the controller... I thought that I might have had, like, some slight degree of influence over this, like, broad rail path, but not even that. I'm beginning to fear that because we're getting to the end of the game, these are getting, like, increasingly indulgent. Oh, we're gonna make you look for even longer because we've earned it this time. Okay. Well, oh, I just fell through its head. Cool. Bye, Pinata. Can you... What? Oh, it's magical! Oh, it's majestic! Can you imagine if I, like, bashed that thing open and a bunch of Skittles fell out of it? Like, specifically Skittles brand products. Oh, I made it to, like, our last little thingy. Well, this is a lot of paper people at the gate now. Wait a second. Wait a second! The gate is shaped like a keyhole! This is literally rhyme! It's the exact same thing! If this place is filled with Pinata Dragons, though, that is going to be insanely good. I don't think those are the same ones. The Fluau Mao Cliffs. That was kind of a transition. Do you feel moved yet? Whoa, the birds! Alright, okay. Oh, the zip! I've been so conditioned to, like, use the gliding first that I've, like, forgotten about all the other, like, better shit that I have. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I think There is a fair amount of stuff that I was... Oh, okay. I was gliding, but then it just took that away from me, even though I was still holding the ZR. For as much as I was complaining about the movement in kind of the flat, open areas, I think this game did get worse when they introduced this. Because it is, like, the least reliable thing you can do. Oh, I just didn't grab the ledge. Speaking of things you can't rely on. Why? Why is that the case? Didn't I grab the ledge before? Or did I have to, like, be on it? Maybe I just gotta be on it. Oh, that's not even the ledge in question, it's this one. And yes, it is ledge grabbable. So we'll go here. There we go. There's like a thing at the top of this, right? Wait, is there? There might not be. This might be a waste of my time. Hold on. No. This is just a long sequence. Okay. Right. That's where we gotta get to. Ow! Why? Why do you take it away from me? Does touching a wall just cancel it? Is that how it works? No, because I couldn't even turn it on that time. And I pressed and released like twice. That should have been a ledge grab. I'm just trying to get back to land! This isn't even like a challenge anymore. No, but these things are pretty, so it's fine. The tall spires stand abandoned, their banners still waving in the wind. The call to journey onwards like a distant echo. We had everything, and we did not see it. Blinded by the light. Hello. Oh, that's a cute one. Give it a little handshake. I don't know why it's giving me the "you are leaving" thing when I definitely cannot do that yet. Oh. There we go. Let's take a look at what these things are. I want to know why you are. I want to read a journal entry. The tripulids. Why are they called the tripulids if they have 4 legs? Oh, they do have 3 legs. Oh, they got like just a hind leg. That is fucked. However, it is the last creature. Formerly creatures of the air, they developed legs for protection and grew gradually taller over time. Now, the wings are purely ornamental. Not sure how that makes sense from an evolutionary perspective, if you could simply just keep flying higher, as now you're grounded to a certain maximum height. Eh? Oh, wind! Wind to where? Oh, behind me. Oh, come on. I hope you guys can see that this comes across how difficult that is to control. Because the state between when you're transitioning from ascending to going back to the gliding is, it's just made up. Like, you go every which way. Like, if you're trying to do any small adjustments, good fucking luck, because you're going to go flying for no reason. But I guess this is the same thing that I was talking about with not being able to make small adjustments with, like, the dash. This is still the most fleshed out thing that controls well. Griffin, that's like telling ostriches and emus to just fly. Not flying is working for them. Yeah, well, just you wait until I start eating them, and then maybe they'll think twice. The gate, the symbol of a new beginning, appears like a sad farewell. Okay, but if you could fly before, why would you stop? And I'm not making this into like an angry critique of the game. To be clear, I'm making this into an angry critique of birds. Try eating an emu, it will kill you. Yeah, but if I could fly and the emu couldn't, then surely I would win. If I was whatever came before an emu, I would win. I do not regret my pilgrimage, not a single step or stumble. I've seen so much light that the journey itself has become an arrival. Still, I must know what became of my people. Oh, it's like a little... I wish there was like a sit button so I could like... I don't know, ask for a Christmas present. Okay, so we got one more to find. Obligatory emu war reference, but humans have lost at least one armed conflict to emus. Okay, but Griffin, you can't fly, so just get fucked. Yeah, well, when I ask my boyfriend Cass, I say, hey, you hear about these emus? Hear about these fuckers? Then the emus will think twice. The Sagriffs. They save vital energy by moving as a flock, forming a pattern for greater lift. I mean, the idea of getting up there seems neat, but well, okay, but if they're talking about, like, lift, like, maybe they can lift me, too, right? If I get near them? No, they're not. Well, maybe. I do get, like, extra little, like, motion lines. I just think I have to, time it a little bit better. No, I still fall. Okay, I'll just die then. The reason they can't fly is so that they can grow bigger. They spend all their time on the ground to eat. Flying obviously isn't as much of an advantage as being big and able to kill anything smaller than you that also relies on the ground. It's like asking why velociraptors don't fly. Yeah, well, not flying didn't work out for velociraptors very well either, did it? I think I'm just gonna pick a different thing to do. I don't get that one. There's an on button for this. This looks like an area with a final collectible in it. Oh my, I was like standing like very, very plainly there. Like it wasn't any like charge up or anything, I was just like kind of hanging out there. Didn't work out well for the flying things either. Smile. What? Huh? There was like a white line and then I died. Is it like you can't be within like a line of sight of it? Oh. Oh. I see. But it's not while you're... Uh-oh. In the... Oh, dear. Oh, dear, what a shame. Can I do this, or will I get shot? Why are there, like, turrets in this game? Alright, that probably could have been a button. Get it over with! Whew. That's 3. That's 3. Alright, game developers. You can end your game. Oh, that's still on. Alright. Don't know why it just didn't turn off. Alright. Alright, game developers, you can do anything to end your game. The sky's the limit. Your imagination is limitless. You've got all this creative talent going into this game. How are you going to end it? One more, though. One more little funny one. Why? Oh, that's the wrong move. Like, they assume the pose of, like, standing in line at the DMV. And they just get flung. Has that always been happening, or is that, like, incorrect? Because for as, like, flawless as this animation has been up until now, that is, like, a little bit odd. Oh, dear. It's been a while since we've had one of these puzzles, and I do not look forward to it. Okay, so that turns that on, I guess. And I go this way? Still kind of wish I could fly with the guys that have the lift, though. God, I'm thinking of the fucking... I forget which it is. There's like a troll physics comic that just has like one of the labels as like lift with an arrow pointing to the earth or something like that. It's really I think it's like attaching propellers to the earth to like for free. It's something like that for like free flight. I think I just want to go back over here because this is what turned on the bounce pad. Oh, I can't reach the bounce pad. Okay, cool. Speaking of asteroid impacts wiping out all life on Earth... I'm sorry, what? There's only one Earth asteroid impact currently predicted to occur and has only a 5% chance of impacting in 2095. And it's not very large, so if it does damage, it will be minor. We'll tell that to the 5% of people who are gonna get hit. I guess 5% chance is not the same as 5% of coverage, though. Can I zoom across? No, I don't want to take it, I want to zoom. You have two moves in this game, you can zip and you can zoom. Jesus Christ. Not that it matters, because you can get a whole lot higher by just doing something completely unrelated. 5% chance, it's like 7 meters in size. We'll tell that to, well, 7 square meters, or like 7 meters like across. Because if you had people standing like 1 meter apart, then you could potentially have like 49 people get hit by that, right? This is like where I'm supposed to... Oh, there's another thingy. You could probably pack him in tighter if you really wanted to. These jumps do not feel good. Like you're spaced out the maximum distance of what is possible. I think I can actually just keep ascending if I stay in this. Current. It's probably a lot easier than doing the jumping manually. Yeah, it's probably like more of an exit path, right? Oh my god, please. Oh my god, I hate this! Okay, so I'm turning in place. Good. I want to go this way. No, and then I just drop like a stone. Why do I not just transition to falling? Well, to hovering? Descending? gliding. No, and then I'm out of the zone, so I gotta go back in. It's like a white on white background too. Oh, so I was able to get up here the whole time. Cool. Okay, yes, you go here backwards. Now that I can't glide anymore. See, because I was thinking for a second that maybe what I had to do is move the energy from that bounce pad and bring it over here. To be fair, impacts aren't just the size of the thing. If you throw it fast enough at the Earth, it could destroy the whole planet. Now, I say this about literally every subject, but isn't there an XKCD about this? Where, like, it's measurements of how fast you can throw a baseball? It's like, yeah, at this speed, the baseball will just, like, burn the air and destroy the planet. It may or may not be related to that one GIF, well, not that one GIF, Griffin, the real-life event that happened, where a baseball pitcher threw a baseball at a bird and then the bird exploded. But I may just be thinking of this for unrelated reasons. See, that was a good transition. Like, I actually kept the momentum. That felt good. Ah, knock it off with this, though. Those need to be a lot more forgiving. Yeah, it's like if you throw it at light speed, it will immediately cause a nuclear explosion. I guess they're already lit up, though. So the oh is, just stays. It's not on a timer. Phew, okay, so what's up here? Why do we need to be here? We got rocks. Oh, light. Gotcha. Not light, actually. This is just a switch. No, this doesn't work? Why not? I mean, I can take this. Oh, it's only on when you're carrying it. Okay. I kind of get it. This is actually, design-wise, I like this sequence. Because you're carrying the one thing. Like, it looks like a T-pose. Like, it's not literally a T-pose, but it has T-pose vibes. Like, I'm completely still when that happens. Oh, over here? Okay. Like, you've got these, like, challenges that are kind of tangents from the main objective, like this tower you're climbing. You keep, like, leaving and coming back, and then you're, like, carrying this thing up the tower. I think it's cool. I like it. There are a few things about this level design I have felt the need to compliment. This is a good structure. There's a really interesting thing, I don't remember what type of media it was, about the KT extinction asteroid impact. Does that mean kiloton? It basically hit the Earth so fast that it took like a fraction of a second between being in space to being in the Earth. And in that time, the local ocean and bedrock was vaporized and everything within miles was dead. Like, it's hard to describe how fast it happened. Yeah, I guess I'll just go back now. Oh, but there's probably a shortcut grip. I was gonna say zippin', and then I said Griffin, and then I just said Grippin', which I believe is just the name of, what is it? Slippy Toad's, no. Wait, okay, so Slippy Toad's dad is Beltino Toad, but I think his uncle's name is Grippy. Yes? Grippin Galactic. You know what? Maybe this is gonna be like, what was it? Something of the Sea? Don't I have the Switch icon? I might have literally gotten rid of it because I think I like deleted that game from my Switch. Wasn't it? We're looking for the S's. Sea of Solitude. What if we get to the top of this tower and it just plays a pop song and there's no cutscenes and nothing happens, and then I don't know, it turns out that the creator of the game is a huge fan of Kamala Harris for whatever reason. Been a long time fan. Because this is like the top, so something's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna be the thing that I said as a joke, but that is shaped like a keyhole, like the Gate of Rhyme, which is also a keyhole at the top of a tower. Funny that. Whoops. KT equals Cretaceous Tertiary extinction. It's the big asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs as we know them. Yeah, I pieced that together. I just didn't understand the KT. It was the most recent extinction event before the current extinction event, the Holocene extinction. That's, the Holocene is that because of climate change, or is there a different reason it's an extinction event currently? Enter those who seek the light. Speaking of going extinct, I think this death metaphor is about to reach its natural conclusion, which is to say death. Oh no. I like that the heads on these statues are just floating. They remind me of a bathroom sign, people. Holocene is humans in general. For a long time I have lingered here, filled with doubt, but I will fulfill my duty. I take this last step, hoping the portal will grant me peace and freedom I seek. Oh, again? It's just in case you forgot how cute this thing was. Just in case you forgot how much you love looking at this fun friend. The weird thing, too, is that it only, like, looks sick for, like, 2 seconds at the start of certain cutscenes, and then it's, like, back to normal. It predates climate change by a few thousand years, but climate change will probably help it along. Another keyhole, but for real this time, I think. Oh, wait, this is even worse. You gotta leave it behind. But then why were you sick? Like, you're fine then. Maybe that's the twist. Oh, I was just gonna lie down on a rock? No, dude! Stop! Yep. Oh, that's cute that the silhouette matches. Wow, well, okay then. Wait, don't take me in there! No! I got gobbled by the keyhole. Now I'm gonna look at a sad Portuguese man in black and white. Oh, is this like back to the swamp area from the start? Boy, abrupt indeed. Kingdom Hearts moment. Well, here's what I have to say to this. I think the parts about this that they wanted me to like would have worked a lot. Like, I really think this would make like a better like short film than it would a game, because the game part is like my least favorite part of it. But then I'm like looking at like the main character and like the little animal friend, and if there was just like I saw that thing getting sad, and I actually got sad for a second, and I was waiting this whole time to have any emotional reaction to this whatsoever, and then I had it, right? But it was still part of a cutscene. And the other cutscenes like weren't about that. It's like, oh no, this thing is like looking sicker and frailer. Something's gonna happen. I feel bad. I get bad vibes. It's like, oh no, you should do something about this. But then you don't do anything about it. And then it didn't matter anyways. It's not a doorway to darkness, it's a doorway to light. Yeah, I don't know. I think this game could definitely be improved a lot, simply like with a patch. Like the stuff that I was talking about with the movement, just being able to transition from one state to another a lot more smoothly, and for like the reticle to like not be stupid, and for shit not to be so janky. Like, you could update this and it wouldn't be that way anymore. If this flowed a lot better, if the movement was a lot more expressive. And you know, if those, I mean, this is, I'm getting out of, you could patch this territory. But if those in-between sections were like controllable, it would be nice. So, you know, man, I was really waiting though, you know. I was proven wrong for a little bit when I first unlocked the surface, like, wow, now this movement feels good. And then they immediately introduced it into areas that are like too big, that like it, the scale of feeling like you're trudging around, it takes about the same amount of time to get from one end to another, which is not the best. But I don't know. I mean, clearly, like, the people who worked on this, like, was it Inky Fox Games? You know, I hope they keep, like, doing other stuff. 'Cause, hey, for as much as I was, like, finding stuff to kind of pick at with this game, there are so, like, this is better than, like, all the other shitty Fox Journey games I've been playing. Like, it's better than that. But it was also more frustrating, I feel like. No, that's a lie. Spirit of the North was the most frustrating, because it had a million of those brute force lock-picking puzzles, and that was awful. Jameson, give me pasta, Schuster. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing that got made, I guess. It didn't really feel particularly cohesive, but it was, like, also an insanely small team. So, but I don't know. Small team doesn't mean that it has to be, like, messy. It really doesn't. It had more potential, so it feels like it fell shorter. Maybe that's it. Like, the expectations that I had. I mean, this is what I was saying at the beginning, is that if this game did achieve what it set out to do, like if it achieved what it wanted to, that's a really high note to hit. And so the fact that it didn't, like, you know, it's really hard. It's really hard to do. But yeah, it really does make you think about like Mephistopheles nuts. It makes you appreciate the games that do make it work a lot more, and you know, it's just, makes you give credit to like Nostalgia Chaser. Makes you give credit to Nostalgia Chaser. Makes you give credit to. I'm looking for another funny name. Who needs my credit? Who needs my credit? Poemple Penguin? Game Derp! Rita's Game Derp Buzmanas? I don't know how you're supposed to say an S with a symbol over it. I understand how symbols like that can affect vowels, and maybe an N if it's got a little squiggle over it. An S with like a little arrow above it. How do you say that? I guess it affects the vowel after it if it's like piñata. It's an interesting first swing though, I guess. Because like for as short as I felt it fell, it could have fallen a lot further. Like this could have been some fucking Unreal Engine licensed asset flip, right? It's like, oh yeah, this is just a bunch of shit copied and pasted over and over again. But there's clearly a huge amount of effort that went into it, like all the creatures having their own like little interactions and like it's a dense game. Like there's a lot going on with it. But I'm thinking back to the block pushing. And if you want to make a game like this, don't do block pushing. And if you want to make a game about block pushing, then don't try this shit. I thought the credits crashed for a second. Well, yet another abrupt end. But that was OMNO. I don't think I've ever done like 2 one-offs in one night. That's interesting. Well, Darkened Sky. Who knows if that's gonna be a one-off or not. But yeah, that was it for tonight. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, you can follow me here on Twitch or on YouTube at The Full Galaxy, where all the VODs are, plus highlights and more. You can also subscribe to me here on Twitch if you particularly enjoyed the stream tonight. You can also follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Pillover, and Discord. There is a Discord server where you can, there's a Discord server with all sorts of channels where you can hang out both on and off stream. And if you want to check any of that out, you can find all of that in the Twitch cards below if you are watching this live, or in the YouTube description if you are watching the VOD. How much is this game on the eShop? You know what? Here's another thing that I'll say. I'll compare this to Sea of Solitude. Like, okay, I said that OMNO was like a little disappointing, fell a little bit short. Sea of Solitude was like bad, like laughably bad. Like I was making fun of it, right? Like at least I wasn't making fun of OMNO. OMNO was still interesting to me and like it got me thinking about a lot of things. So it has value in that sense to me, you know? So I don't know. I'm not at the point where I would like, oh, don't get OMNO. Because there is a type of person who clearly loves Journey likes even more than me who would like this. But you know, this is like a high 6 or maybe a mid 7 in a genre that really only works at a 10. That I think that right there. I've been struggling to like find the right words, but I feel satisfied with that. So it is 1:59 a.m. With that, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys next time. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get chicory is what I'm gonna do. Cause I was expecting not to have to get it so soon, but I guess I gotta pick it up right now. We gotta go get chicory, guys. I gotta get it downloaded for tomorrow. We gotta do chicory, dude. Hold on. I am not preloading Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is gonna be something where I'm like definitely waiting like right up to like the last minute of launch before deciding whether or not I want this. Oh, hey, look, chicory. Hey, look, a much cheaper game that I know that I want. Dude, you get to draw on it. This game is awesome, dude. I think this is gonna ask for password information, so I'm just gonna via smart device. No, I'll just turn this off. Let's do that, and then I'll do that. There we go. All right, good night.